for change, for the future, and redefining what it means to rise above. And we will do it again. Together, positive Sri Lanka.
Envoy, creating luxury.
Detox, hydrate, immunize, choose the Alkalife. Alkafresh, the first alkaline water in Sri Lanka. Detox, hydrate, immunize, choose the Alkalife. Alkafresh, the first alkaline water in Sri Lanka.
Sir, මගේ අර වැඩේ.
පුතේ දැන් නම් සර්ට වැඩ වැඩි. හැබැයි මේ වැඩේ නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් කරන්න. අනේ? Yes sir. පස්සේ එන්න දරුවෝ.
Emojot is the only platform that allows viewers, customers, citizens, and individuals anywhere in the world to emote on any subject, at any time, from anywhere, using any device. It is also the only platform to really know what people's perceptions are on any subject at any time, anywhere in the world. Know what your customers are feeling and engage with them in real time. Emojot is the
The International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka is the national office of the Paris-based business organization. The ICC comprises of membership of 45 million members in 130 countries. Trade facilitation, export and import and cross-border trade and issues relating to freight forwarding and many other matters of importance are addressed by the ICC. ICC Sri Lanka works through several committees to debate, discuss and suggest solutions on subjects related to the mandate of the Chamber. Each of these commissions are led by professionals in the committee, with many committees functioning. ICC includes a membership committee, International Relations Committee, Policy and Advocacy Committee, Training and Development Committee, Banking Committee. ICC is the sole authorized guaranteeing agency for ATIACAN. It's an internationally accepted customs document which enables duty-free and tax-free temporary importation of items as commercial samples. The ATIACAN reduces costs and red tape. The ICC is also known for its popular publications invaluable for bankers, lawyers, arbitrators and anyone involved in cross-border trade. Its members are provided with a member's privilege card which includes discounts with multiple retailers. ICC Sri Lanka's vision is to be the organization of choice to advance international trade and investment for businesses in Sri Lanka. ICC Sri Lanka's mission is to be the change agent in national policy formulation and implementation and facilitator of global businesses with Sri Lanka and disseminator of information on the development of business utilizing the services of ICC Paris while continuing to be a facilitator of dispute resolution. In addition, the ICC Sri Lanka organizes seminars, lectures, meetings with business leaders, and gives recognition to Sri Lankan businesses for outstanding achievements. ICC can play a special role in connecting business to the world and be a driving force for all Sri Lankan businesses. And implementation and facilitator of global businesses with Sri Lanka and dissemination.
If you seek for business, look for insightfulness. If you seek for politics, look for anticipation. If you value lifestyle, look for the extraordinary. If you love sports, look for the passion. Daily FT. Be empowered.
If it's flying pleasure, fly Kuwait. If it's flying leisure, fly Kuwait. If it's business that cannot wait, fly Kuwait. If it's for love and a special date, fly Kuwait. Talk about the best rates, fly Kuwait. Where you're traveling, whoever you are, fly Kuwait, because we treat you like a star. The same place that had its entire coffee industry destroyed nearly overnight took a positive turn, and 15 years later became the maker of the world's best tea. The same place that was a war zone for 26 years, 10 positive years later, is one of the best holiday destinations on earth. The same place that won independence with a boys-only government in 1948, 12 years later, was positive about electing a woman as the world's first female head of state. The same place has been growing all of the world's favorite spice for 3,000 years, shaping the cuisines of 100 cultures, from Mexico to Turkey. The same place that had 2/3 of its coastline devastated in one of the deadliest natural disasters ever. 12 positive years later, was hailed as one of the top maritime centers in the world. The same place where a divine footprint appeared at the top of a mountain, 2,000 years later, has been revered by Buddhist pilgrims, Muslim devotees, Catholic believers, Hindu worshippers, side by side, under a sky full of butterflies. Because nothing is more Sri Lankan than being positive. For hope, for love, for change, for the future. And redefining what it means to rise above. And we will do it again. Together, positive Sri Lanka.
Envoy, creating luxury.
Detox, hydrate, immunize, choose the Alkalife. Alkafresh, the first alkaline water in Sri Lanka. Detox, hydrate, immunize, choose the Alkalife. Alkafresh, the first alkaline water in Sri Lanka.
සර් මගේ අර වැඩේ
පුතේ දැන් නම් සර්ට වැඩ වැඩි. හැබැයි මේ වැඩේ නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් කරනවා. අනේ? දැන් සර්. පස්සේ එන්න දරුවෝ.
Emojot is the only platform that allows viewers, customers, citizens, and individuals anywhere in the world to emote on any subject, at any time, from anywhere, using any device. It is also the only platform to really know what people's perceptions are on any subject at any time, anywhere in the world. Know what your customers are feeling and engage with them in real time. Emojot is the
Can I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are standing, we'd appreciate if all of you can take your seats because we intend starting proceedings in a short while. Thank you. Ayubowan, a very good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fireside Chat with the presidential candidates, organized by the International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka, together with Daily FT. Well, for me, it's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to be your MC on this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, the International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka is the largest international chamber in the world. Today, it groups over 45 million companies and associations from over 130 countries. ICC is the World Business Organization, the only representative body that speaks with authority on behalf of enterprises from all sectors in every part of the world. The Daily FT is the most popular business paper in Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, this event is also partnered by the European Chamber and the German Chamber of Commerce and Positive Sri Lanka. We would also wish to thank Mr. Sanjeev Gardner, Chairman, Galle Face Hotel, for his support throughout this event. We also wish to mention that a live broadcast will be on Election First, Dialogue TV, and through the ICC Sri Lanka and Daily FT Facebook pages. This is the third Fireside Chat hosted by the organizers since 2018, and we wish to announce that all proceeds collected from the previous events were donated to the Cancer Hospital, and donations to the Apeksha Hospital Maharagama can be made directly to the account number 7040252, the Bank of Ceylon Maharagama branch. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, can I now request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
Namo
Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to meet our panelists. I'd like all of you to focus your attention on the screen. And a member of the Parliament of Sri Lanka. He served for a time as Cabinet Minister of Agriculture, Livestock, Lands and Irrigation, and Chief Opposition Whip. He was named the leader of the JVP at the 7th National Convention of the party held in 2014. He has been a parliamentarian from 2000 to date. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to welcome Honorable Anura Kumara Dissanayaka. And now focus your attention on the screen once again as we introduce you to our next panelist. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ajanta Pereira is an environmental scientist with over 25 years professional experience in Sri Lanka, Fiji, the United States of America, and Germany. She was nominated as the International Woman of Courage of Sri Lanka by the US Embassy in Colombo in 2011. She was also one of the first Sri Lankans to be awarded the Ashoka Fellowship in 2005 and the Human Potential Award in 2003. She was once described as the Iron Lady of Sri Lanka for her activities mediating with the LTTE in the Vavuniya area in the late 1990s, convincing them to ban polythene in Vavuniya. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ajanta Pereira. And let's move on to introduce our next personality.
It's time for a change. Something that Sri Lanka has not
It's
had
time
in
for
the
a
recent
change.
past.
Something that Sri
There has
Lanka
been much
has
debate
not had
about
in the recent past. There has been much debate about how Sri Lanka needs a new direction in leadership. The qualities that Dr. Palevatta brings to the table underpin that change. It is time for a new leader, and it is time to bring in the very change that we have been demanding. Here is what Dr. Palevatta has to offer.
So it is a president that is with wisdom that Sri Lanka will need in order to bring in this chaos to an end. There's a thick carapace of insensibility that has grown over the collective psyche of the nation of Sri Lanka due to corruption, mismanagement. I can go on, the list goes on. So to induce the necessary catharsis to the situation is a responsibility of any socially relevant individual or institute. So for me to have raised the hand to contest the presidency is exactly for that reason. To provide the necessary catharsis, provide the necessary vent to the people who are craving for a better Sri Lanka back home. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr.
Dr. Rohan Palevatta. And let's find out who our next personality is.
Born to the third president of Sri Lanka, Ranasinghe Premadasa, Sajid could have easily chosen Born to the third president of Sri Lanka, Ranasinghe Premadasa, Sajid could have easily chosen a path of privilege based on his father's legacy. But after his father's assassination, Sajid proved otherwise. He gave up his life in the US and moved to Hambantota instead of Colombo, which was his father's electorate. More than politics, Sajid wanted to follow in his father's footsteps and fight poverty. At just 28 years of age, with no ministerial post, Sajid worked directly with the poor people of Hambantota on pressing issues of unemployment, debt, and lack of quality education. It was no surprise that in the year 2000, Sajid's first election, he polled the highest number of preference votes in the country. For 19 years since then, Sajid's life as a politician has been about action. It has been about solutions, and it has been about resourcefulness. Who is Sajid? What has he done? Are questions many of you will ask. The answer is simple. Sajid is an activist within the political system, a man who worked on his own terms and did not succumb to political pressure and power plays. He is like you and me, an outsider within the system who believes that the way we work today is not working for us. His greatest achievement has been shunning toxic politics for real action and change, and he did this every day for the last 25 years. That did not bring him political followers, but brought him real love from the people of Sri Lanka. When we seek change, this is the change we seek. A leader who will put people before politics. Always.
Premadasa was born in 1967. He attended St. Thomas's Preparatory School, Royal College Colombo, and Mill Hill School, London. He won the A-level prize for politics and business studies, and besides being appointed a prefect, a rare honor for any foreign student, and he also played in the first 11 cricket team for 4 years, captaining the side in 1986. A graduate of the London School of Economics and Political Science of the University of London, his degree covered the areas of economics, politics, and international relations. Following his BSc at LSE, he decided to pursue a master's degree in public management at the University of Maryland near Washington, D.C. During his studies, he also had the rare distinction of completing his internship at the U.S. Senate, working in its Foreign Relations Committee under Senator Larry Pressler, a Republican from South Dakota, and he met many other influential senators, including John McCain and former presidential candidate John Kerry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Sajid Premadasa. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more individual to be introduced.
අගෝස්තු මස 13 වන දින ෆ්‍රෑන්ස් සහ අයිරාන්ගනී සේනානායකයන් දෙපළට දාව මහේෂ් සේනානායකයන් උපත ලැබුවේ බලපිටිය කොස්කොඩ ග්‍රාමයේදී. 1981 දී කෙඩට් නිලධාරියෙක් ලෙස යුද හමුදාවට සම්බන්ධ වන සේනානායකයන් යුද හමුදා විශේෂ බලකායේ ආරම්භක සමාජිකයෙක් ලෙස ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන් එක්වීම විශේෂත්වයක්. ඇමරිකා එක්සත් ජනපදයේ අනහා මාණ්ඩලික විද්‍යාලයේ ආරක්ෂක උපාධිය මෙන්ම ඉන්දියාවේ ජවහර්ලාල් නේරු විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයෙන් සිවිල් ඉංජිනේරු උපාධිය යන උපාධීන් වලටද හිමිකම් කියන්නේ. උතුරු නැගෙනහිර තීරණාත්මක මානසික මෙහෙයුමේ සැලසුම් අධ්‍යක්ෂක ලෙස මාතෘභූමිය වෙනුවෙන් අනුප මෙහෙයක් සිදු කළ එතුමා 2017 වසරේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ 22 වන යුදහමතාපති ධූරයෙන් එතුමන් මහත් අභිමනින් යුතුව පුදුම් ලැබුවා. අප්‍රේල් 21 පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයෙන් අනතුරු සියලුම ප්‍රජාවන් වෙත තම සුරක්ෂිත බව නැවත තහවුරු කර දෙමින් සියල්ලන්ගේම ප්‍රශංසාවට ලක් වුණා.
දේශපාලන රක්ෂාවක් නෙමෙයි. මේ රටේ බොහෝ දෙනෙක් මේක රක්ෂාවක් කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. අඩුම වශයෙන් මේ ආස්ථාවේ ආරම්භ කරමු. මේ උත්තරේ ජනාධිපතිවරණය නෙමෙයි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ රට අයිති මිනිස්සුන්ට මිසක් පුද්ගලයෙකුට නෙමෙයි.
Mahesh Senanayake is a humble, down-to-earth senior army officer and military engineer. He was rated as the most people-friendly commander of the Sri Lanka Army. He is a well-known veteran of all facets of the civil war, during which he won the hearts and minds of people of the country, especially the people in the North and East province, for his undisputed role of humanitarianism. Ladies and gentlemen, we are made to understand that General Mahesh Senanayake is unable to be present here today because he is indisposed. However, we have with us his General Secretary, Dr. Gamini Gunawardena, joining us. Everybody put your hands together for a round of applause. And I'm also informed that we will be linking with General Senanayake via WhatsApp. Well, to make this a memorable morning and an event for you all, we've infused entertainment as well. We now move on to a spot of entertainment. We have voice print and first ladies to entertain all of you. Everybody, put your hands together and give them a round of applause.
Today's emerging markets are tomorrow's powerhouses. According to a recent forecast from Standard Chartered, countries like Indonesia, Brazil, Turkey, and Egypt will all be moving up the economic ladder over the next few years. But before we get into future growth, let's look at where things stand today. China recently edged out the US to become the world's largest economy by GDP when adjusted for purchasing power parity. India, Japan, and Germany will round out the top 5. Let's look at how this is expected to change by the year 2030. China's GDP will continue growing. Even accounting for a natural slowdown given the economy's size, the country may still end up with an economy twice the size of the United States. Already, 5 of the 10 largest companies in the world are located in China. India will shift up into second position. Some of this growth will be fueled by rapid urbanization, as many of the world's fastest-growing cities are located in India. Indonesia's economy is expected to triple, surpassing the size of India's today. The country's capital, Jakarta, is projected to become the world's biggest megacity by 2030. With 3 countries in the top 5, Asia's slice of the global GDP pie will increase to 35%. Egypt is expected to rocket up the rankings from 21st place to 7th by 2030. The country's rapidly increasing population will play a big part in this economic growth. Germany is expected to remain in the top 10, but at the bottom of the list. While the country is likely to remain the dominant economy in Western Europe, its modest growth rate will see it fall behind more populous, rapidly developing countries in Asia. This is a trend that will likely play out across the world as the divide between the developed and the developing economies continues to close. Theoretically, a country's share of global GDP should eventually converge on their share of global population, a trend we see reflected in this forecast. By 2030, 7 of the world's 10 largest economies will be located in today's emerging markets. As this shift occurs, Western economies may need to adjust to new realities on the global economic stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my cue in inviting Mr. Ramesh Shafter to set the stage. Come on, everybody, put your hands together and give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Faisal. That video tells us what lies ahead. The only question for Sri Lanka is, will we be number 1 or will we be number 2? We have a choice. Tag on to China, we will become number 1. Tag on to India, and we will become number 2. This is the Fireside Chat, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fireside Chat with no fire. It's laid back, it's casual, it's meant to be enjoyable. The fire will be in the questions that you ask, and I do hope that you get the answers that you want. I was asked to set the stage. I was asked to use a little humor. Unfortunately, I've had to cut all of that out. I usually use some political jokes, but unfortunately, given the members on the stage, this is not the right forum. Then I thought I could use some racist jokes about the Chinese and Brexit and Europe and Irish, and then I see all the ambassadors and such people, so I had to cut that out. And my last chance was to use some of my feminist jokes, and then I saw there are too many powerful ladies in this audience and on stage. So in conclusion, kidding really, but what really matters to Sri Lankans, and that is the question that you will be asking, is it the climate that's causing all sorts of droughts and floods? Is it security that has once more become a concern? Or is it the economy that is facing mounting international circumstances and challenges, much like our Sri Lankan cricket team? In fact, I think that ranks fairly high on the agenda. Recently, we had success in that Kumar Sangakkara was appointed chairman of the Maliban Cricket Club, also known as the MCC. But there's been so much of opposition recently to the MCC that he's thinking of resigning that position. Poverty has always been a matter of some importance in the third world and developing world. I asked a politician once, I won't say of which color, but I asked a politician once, what has your government done to alleviate poverty? And he said, the best example is myself. Before our government came to power, I used to be very poor. And then, of course, we have gender issues and gender equality coming to the forefront in this election. I shan't make any rude jokes. But I grew up in England in the late 80s and 90s when political correctness was the rage. In fact, there was a proposal to change the name of Manchester to Personchester. Not long ago, we saw Air India flying an aircraft to Sri Lanka to mark International Women's Day. All female crew. Pilot, co-pilot, first officer, second officer, you name it, all ladies. One of my friends was saying, I don't know, I don't think I'll be comfortable flying in an aircraft which is piloted by ladies. I told him, don't be so sexist. It's not like they have to reverse the plane. It takes a little time, ladies and gentlemen. It's too early in the morning, but I wish you all enjoyment. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this fireside chat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh Shafter, for setting the stage. Right, ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce you to our two moderators, let me give you the ground rules. Requesting the moderators, wherever you are, to keep the questions short to allow more content from the panelists, and panelists to answer to the questions directly to ensure more questions can be accommodated. No critical comments to be made by the panelists about other candidates. Complimentary comments about other panelists are accepted from the panel members. And questions from the audience is accepted only via the link shown on the screen right now. Yes, that's the link. Emoji, the engagement partner, it's www.emojot.com/fireside. And one more request, all phones to be switched off or kept on silent mode to avoid any disturbances during the event. And very important, all your areas of focus should be on the private sector, economy, environment development challenges, and taxation and regulations. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure in inviting our two moderators. Let me first invite Mr. Deepal Suryarachi. And everybody, put your hands together for Mr. Dinesh Virakade.
Good morning and Ayubowan. When I was coming this morning, there was a three-wheeler in front of me. It has Hina Tibunata Kotiak Ate Naheka Rupielak. I think it summarizes where we are. And Mevara Janadipati Varanaya Suishesha Vadagatkamak Tino, Vishalanama Sankyavak Apekshakaru, Digama Chandapatrikava, Evagima සාධනීය ලක්ෂණයක් හැටියට අපි දකිනවා මේ හැම ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයක් සඳහාම සෑහෙන පුළුල් සහභාගීත්වයකින් අදහස් සම්පින්ඩනය වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒවා කියවුවාම නම් අපිට හිතෙන්නේ ඉතා ඉක්මනින් අපේ උතුරු කුරු දිවයිනේ කේතුමති රාජධානියේ ජීවත් වෙන්න ලැබෙනවා කියලා. මම ආරාධනා කරන මුලින්ම අනුකුමාර දිසානායක මහත්මයාට ආර්ථිකය සහ ව්‍යාපාර ක්ෂේත්‍රය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔබගේ යොමුවේ කෙටි ප්‍රවේශයක්.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි සියලු දෙනාටම. මම හිතනවා අපේ ආර්ථිකයේ මුහුණ දී තිබෙන ප්‍රධාන ගැටලු පහක් තිබෙනවා. එකක් ණය අර්බුදය. 2018 මහ බැංකුව වාර්තාව පෙන්වා දෙන පරිදි අපේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායම බිලියන 1919ක් වෙනකොට අපේ ණය පොලි වාරිකයේ බිලියන 2054ක් වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ණය ගෙවීමටත් බිලියන 135ක් ණය ගන්න සිදු වී තිබෙන ආර්ථිකයක්. දෙවැනි අර්බුදය ආනයන අපනයන වෙළඳපොලේ ඇති වී තිබෙන අර්බුදය. 2018 වසරේ අපේ මුළු අපනයන ආදායම ඩොලර් බිලියන 11.8ක් වෙනකොට අපේ ආනයන වියදම ඩොලර් බිලියන 22.2ක් වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඩොලර් බිලියන 10.8ක හිග වෙළඳ ශේෂයක් හිමි ආර්ථිකයක් අපිට තිබෙනවා. තුන්වෙනි අර්බුදය රාජ්‍ය ආදායම හීන වීම. උදාහරණයක් ලෙස ගත්තොත් 1996 දී අපේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායම දළ ජාතික නිෂ්පාදනයේ ප්‍රතිශතයක් හැටියට 23%ක්ව තිබුණා. 2014 වෙනකොට එය 11.5 දක්වා හරි අඩකින් කඩා වැටුණා. දැන් ආණ්ඩුව සැලසුමක් හදලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ 15% දක්වා වැඩි කරන්න. හැබැයි 15% දක්වා වැඩි කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්නේ තිබෙන ආදායම් බදු ෆයිල් 2,70,000ට තවත් බරපතල වීම. ඒක අපේ ආර්ථිකයේ තුන්වෙනි අර්බුදය. අපේ ආර්ථිකයේ හතරවෙනි අර්බුදය තමයි විශාල ලෙස අපේ නිෂ්පාදනය කඩා වැටීම. අපේ රට තුල නිෂ්පාදනය කරගති බොහෝ දේවල් අපි කඩාවට්ටවා තිබෙනවා. අපේ ආර්ථිකයේ පස්වෙනි අර්බුදය තමයි ආදායම් බෙදීමේ විෂමතාවය. උදාහරණයකට ගත්තොත් ඉහළම 10% අපේ රටේ ජාතික ධනයෙන් 38.4ක් භුක්ති විඳිනවා. පහළම 10%ට හම්බෙන්නේ ජාතික ආදායමෙන් දළ ජාතික නිෂ්පාදිතයෙන් 1.1යි. ඒ කිසිසේත්ම පිළිගත හැකි තත්වයක් නොවේ. ජනගහනයෙන් 43ක දෛනික ආදායම ඩොලර් 2කට වඩා අඩුයි. ඒ නිසා මා විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ ආර්ථිකයේ මුණ දී තිබෙන මේ ගැටලු පහට පිළිතුරු සොයාගන්නේ නැතුව අපේ රට ඉස්සරහට යන්න බෑ. මේ පහ තව තවත් වර්ධනය වෙමින් ඉස්සරහට යනවා නම් අනිවාර්ය ලෙස අපි විශාල කඩාවැටීමකට ලක් වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා පළමු එකම අපි ණය අර්බුදයෙන් ගොඩ එන්නේ කොහොමද? ඔබ දන්නවා ණය අර්බුදයක් බවට පත් වුණේ ඇයි? ණය අර්බුදයක් බවට පත් වුණේ ණය වලින් ගන්නා ලද ණය වලින් අවශ්‍ය වත්කම් නිර්මාණය වුණේ නැහැ. ට්‍රිලියන 11ක ණයක් තිබුණාට ට්‍රිලියන 11ක වත්කම් නිර්මාණය වුණේ නැහැ. දෙක ණය වලින් අවශ්‍ය වත්කම් නිර්මාණය වුණේ නැහැ. සමහර ණය වලින් කරපු ව්‍යාපෘති වා කිසිසේත්ම ඵලදායීතාවයෙන් යුතු ව්‍යාපෘති නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා මේ ණය අර්බුදයෙන් ගොඩ එන්න නම් වළක්වන්න බැරි විදිහටම යලි ණය ගත වෙකි වෙනවා. ණය කියන්නේ අපරාධයක් නෙවෙයි. ණය ලබා ගැනීමේ ප්‍රධාන අවශ්‍යතා දෙකක් තිබෙනවා. එකක් අපේ ප්‍රාග්ධන අවශ්‍යතාව සපුරා ගැනීම. දෙක අපේ තාක්ෂණික අවශ්‍යතාව සපුරා ගැනීම. සහ එවැනි ණය වාණිජ වෙළඳ පොළේ වෙනුවට ඉඩ අඩු පොලි අනුපාතයක් සහිතව ණය ලබා ගැනීම හරහා ඵලදායී ව්‍යාපෘති වල සහ ඵලදායී යටිතල පාසුකම් වලට යෙදවීමෙන් ක්‍රමානුකූලව මේ ණය අර්බුදයෙන් ගොඩ යා හැකි. අප විසින් වසර කිහිපයක් ඇතුළත අපේ මෙන්න අර්බුදයෙන් ගොඩ ඒම සඳහා ජාතික සැලැස්මක් අපි ඉදිරිපත් කොට තිබෙනවා. දෙක ආනයන අපනයන වෙළඳ පොලේ ඇති වී තිබෙන අර්බුදය. මා විශ්වාස කරනවා තවදුරටත් ලෝකේ කාර්මික වෙළඳ පොලේ පංගුවක් අපිට අත්පත් කරගන්න බෑ. කවුරු හරි විශ්වාස කරනවා නම් ෆොක්ස්වැගන් කර්මාන්තශාලාව ගෙනල්ලා අපිට ලෝක වෙළඳ පොලේ පංගුවක් අත්පත් කරගන්න පුළුවන් කිව්වා. ඉතාමත් මිත්‍යා අදහසක්. මොකද කාර්මික වෙළඳ පොලේ පංගුවක් අපිට අත්පත් කරගන්න නොහැකි. ඒ අපි තේරුම් ගත යුතු තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි හිතනවා අපිට විශාල පංගුවක් අත්පත් කරගත හැකි කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා. මුදුකාංග වෙළඳ පොළ. ඔබ දන්නවාද? ඇමරිකාවේ ආරක්ෂක දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව පෙන්ටගනි මුදුකාංග පද්ධති නිර්මාණය කරේ ලංකාවේ මුදුකාංග පද්ධති කොටසක් නිර්මාණය කරේ ලංකාවේ සමාගම. ඒ වගේම එංගලන්තේ කොටස් වෙළඳ පොළේ මුදුකාංග පද්ධතිය කොටසක් නිර්මාණය කරේ ලංකාවේ සමාගම. ඒ වගේම එක්සත් අරාබි එමිරාජ්‍යයේ ආණ්ඩුවේ මුදුකාංග පද්ධතිය කොටසක් නිර්මාණය කරේ ලංකාවේ සමාගම. ඒත් ලංකාවේ දේශීය ආදායම් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මුදුකාංග පද්ධතිය නිර්මාණය කරේ සිංගප්පූරු සමාගම. මතක තබා ගන්න. ඒ නිසා අපි හිතනවා මේ මුදුකාංග වෙළඳ පොළ අපේ ලෝකේ විශාල වෙළඳ පොළක් අත්පත් කරගත හැකි කියලා. අපේ සැලැස්මේ තිබෙනවා වසර 5ක් ඇතුළත මුදුකාංග වෙළඳ පොළේ ඩොලර් බිලියන 15ක ආර්ථිකයක් අපිට හිමි කරගත හැකි කියන දැඩි විශ්වාසයක් අපි තුල තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි හිතනවා අපේ රටේ සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය. සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයේ කෝණය අපි වෙනස් කළ යුතු තිබෙනවා. මොකද අපිට ජෛව විවිධත්වයෙන් පිට රාජ්‍යයක් තිබෙනවා. විවිධ දේශගුණික කලාප තිබෙනවා. විවිධ පාරිසරික කලාප තිබෙනවා. වනජීවි කලාප තිබෙනවා. අපි සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරය අපි දිශාව යොමු කළ යුත්තේ කොහාටද? අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා. ඕගොල්ලෝ ලෝකේ කොහේ මුදල් හම්බ කරත් පිරිසුදු වතුර පොටක් බොන්න ලංකාවට එන්න. ඔබ ලෝකේ කොහේ ජීවත් වුණත් මොනතරම් මුදල් හම්බ කරත් පිරිසිදු හුස්ම පොදක් ගන්න ලංකාවට එන්න. ඔබ ලෝකේ කොහේ ජීවත් වුණත් ඔබට නිසංසල ජීවිතයක් ගත කරන්න ලංකාවට එන්න. එවැනි නව සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාර දිශානතියක් නිර්මාණය කළ යුතු කියන එක අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ අපිට ඩොලරේ ඇති වී තිබෙන අර්බුදයට විසඳුම් සොයාගත හැකි වේවි කියලා. තුන්වෙනි අර්බුදය නිෂ්පාදනයේ කඩා වැටීම. මම හිතනවා අපිට තෝරාගත හැකි ශේෂ්ත්‍ර ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. මම කිසිසේත්ම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැහැ. අප කිසිසේත්ම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ සියල්ල නිෂ්පාදනය කළ හැකි රාජ්‍යයක්. ඒක ගල් යුගයට අයිති රාජ්‍යයක්. ලෝකයේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ආනයනේ අපනයනේ මත රඳා පවතිනවා. ඒ අපි මේ මොහොතේ ලෝකේ. ඒ නිසා අපි හැබැයි තෝරාගත යුතු තිබෙනවා. අපේ රටේ තියෙන සම්පත්, අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රාග්ධන හැකියාව, අපේ තිබෙන තාක්ෂණය උපයෝග කරගත්තු නව නිෂ්පාදන රටාවකට අපි ආ යුතු තිබෙනවා. එය මා විශ්වාස කරනවා අපිට මේ නිෂ්පාදන කඩාවැටීම අර්බුදින් ගොඩ එන්න වේවි කියලා. රාජ්‍ය ආදායම හීන වීම. බිලියන 1919 රාජ්‍ය ආදායම 2018 වසරේ. මේ බිලියන 1919 රාජ්‍ය ආදායම අරගෙන බිලියන 4000ට වඩා වැඩි වියදමක් දරන්න සිදු වී තිබෙනවා. කොහොමද රටක් දුවන්නේ? ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාරික ආදායම වගේ දෙගුණයක් නම් ඔබගේ වියදම, ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාර බංකොලොත් වූ ව්‍යාපාර. ඒ නිසා මේ අර්බුදෙන් අපි ගොඩ එන්නේ කොහොමද? එකක්, නාස්තිය අවම කළ යුතු තිබෙනවා. දූෂණය අවම කළ යුතු තිබෙනවා. දෙක, ආදායම උපයාගත යුතු තිබෙනවා. දැන් මේ 2,70,000 බදු ෆයිල් තිබෙනවා. මේ 2,70,000 බදු ෆයිල් තවත් හැම ගැසීමෙන් කිසිදු තේරුමක් නැහැ. ඒකෙන් සිදු වී තිබෙන දේ තමයි ඒක ව්‍යාප්ත වීම මත නතර වී තිබෙනවා. මට මතකයි බිස්නස් ටුඩේ සංග්‍රහයේ හොඳම ව්‍යවසායක හැටියට අපේ හැරි ජයවර්ධන මහත්මයා තෝරගත් වෙලාවෙදී ඔහු ප්‍රකාශයක් කරා. ඔහුට සමාගම් ගණනාවක හිමිකාරීත්වයක් තිබෙනවා. සමාගම් විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් ආදායම් ලබනවා. හැබැයි මුදල් අමාත්‍යවරට ඇඟිල්ල දික් කරලා කිව්වා හැබැයි අයිතිකාරයා මොහු කියලා. ඔබට මතක ඇති. ඒ සිදු වී තිබෙන්නේ කුමක්ද? උපයා ගන්නා ආදායම විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් බදු වලට ගෙවන්න සිදු වී තිබෙනවා නම් ආර්ථික ප්‍රසාරණය ඇකිලි වී තිබෙනවා. ආර්ථික ඉස්සරහ දුවන්නේ නැතුව තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අනිවාර්ය ලෙස ආර්ථික ප්‍රසාරණය කිරීම සඳහා අපි නව සුළු හා මධ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණ ව්‍යවසායක පැලැන්තියක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඕනකම තිබෙනවා. මම විශ්වාස කරනවා අපේ රටේ ආර්ථික එන්ජින් එක බවට පත් වෙන්නේ සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකත්වය කියලා. ඒ ආර්ථික එන්ජින් එක විශේෂයෙන්ම අද සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායක කොතන තිබෙන්නේ? ගම්වල ඈත තරුණයන් තමන්ගේ ඉවට සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකයන් යෙදෙනවා. මල් වැවුවොත් අනිත් කෙනත් මල් වවනවා. බිම්මල් වගා කරොත් අනිත් කෙනත් බිම්මල් වගා කරනවා. ජුකි මැෂින් දෙකක් දැම්මොත් අනිත් කෙනත් ජුකි මැෂින් දෙකක් දානවා. ඒක හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ලෝකේ තවදුරටත් වෙළඳපොළ ගමන් කරමින් තිබෙන්නේ ඉවට නොවේ. ලෝකේ වෙළඳපොළ ගමන් කරමින් තිබෙන්නේ දත්ත තොරතුරු පුරෝකතන මත. ඒ නිසා අපි ග්‍රාමීය තරුණ පරම්පරාව වෙත දත්ත තොරතුරු පුරෝකතන මේ වෙළඳපොළ මොන දිශාවට පරිවර්තන වේවිද කියලා නව සුළු හා මධ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණ පරම්පරාවක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඕන. මා ඒකට කියන්නේ සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ උම්මාදයක් මේ රටේ නිර්මාණය කරනවා. අඩුම තරමේ අවුරුදු 5 වෙනකොට නව බදු ෆයිල් ලක්ෂයක් අතර නිර්මාණය කරගන්න බැරි වුණොත් මේ ආදායම අපිට ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන් කමක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අපේ එන්ජින් එක බවට පත් කරගන්නේ සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකත්වයේ අවුරුදු 5ක් ඇතුළත අඩුම තරමේ අලුත් බදු ෆයිල් ලක්ෂයක්වත් නිර්මාණය කිරීම අපේක්ෂාවක් අපි සතුව තිබෙනවා. ඊළඟ ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් ආදායම බෙදී යාමේ විෂමතාවය. ග්‍රාමීය ජනතාවට ඔබ ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. දුප්පත්කම කියන්නේ නැති බැරිකම විතරක් නෙවෙයි. දුප්පත්කම සමාජ ඛේදවාචකයක්. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් ඔහුගේ දරුවට නිසි අධ්‍යාපනයක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් ඔහුට නිරෝගී සම්පන්න ජීවිතයක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් ඔහුට සමාජයේ ගෞරවයක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් ඔහුට රාජ්‍ය කාර්යාලය නිසි කාර්යයක් කරගන්න ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් පන්තියේ කොන්වීමට වාජනය වෙනවා. ඔහු දුප්පත් නම් ලෙඩ රෝග වැළඳීමේ ප්‍රවණතාවයක් වැඩි වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා දුප්පත් භාවය කියන්නේ සාක්කුවේ සල්ලි නැතිකම විතරක් නෙවෙයි. ඔබ ඉතා ඈත ගම්වලට ගිහලා බලන්න. දුප්පත්කම කියන සමාජ ඛේද වාචකයක්. එය කුඩා සහන බෙදීමෙන් බේරාගත හැකි අරුබුදයක් නෙවෙයි. මේ ජනතාව දුප්පත්කමෙන් ගොඩ ගන්න නම් ඈත ග්‍රාමීය ජනතාව දක්වා අපි ආර්ථික ප්‍රසාරණය කළ යුතුයි. ග්‍රාමීය ජනතාව දක්වා ආර්ථික ප්‍රසාරණය කිරීමකින් තොරව දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්න බෑ. ගොවි ජනතාව දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්නේ කෙසේද? දීවර ජනතාව දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්නේ කෙසේද? කුඩා වේ තේවත්තක් හිමි කුඩා ගොවියා දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්නේ කෙසේද? දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩගත හැකි වන්නේ ඔවුන් නියලන ආර්ථික ප්‍රබලය සංවර්ධනය කිරීම විතරයි. කුෂ කර්මාන්තය සංවර්ධනය කිරීමකින් තොරව ගොවි ජනතාව දුප්පත් භාවයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්න බෑ. දීවර කර්මාන්තය සංවර්ධනයකින් තොරව ඔබ දන්නෝ අපි ඉන්දියානු සාගරේ අපිත් මාළු වලන ඉන්දියාවත් මාළු වලන. සාමාන්‍ය ඉන්දියාව ගත්තොත් වර්ග කිලෝමීටරයකින් මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 2ක් මාළු නිෂ්පාදනය කරන වසරකට. වර්ග කිලෝමීටරයකින් මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 2ක් මාළු නිෂ්පාදනය කරන ඉන්දියාවේ. අපි කීයද? මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් 0.9. හරි අඩකට අඩුයි. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉන්දියන් සාගරේ මාළු වලන අපිත් ඉන්දියන් සාගරේ මාළු වලන. මොකද්ද සිදු වී තිබෙන්නේ? අපි දීවර කර්මාන්තර තාක්ෂණ එකතු කරන්න අසමත් වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා වර්ග කිලෝමීටර් 5,70,000ක් වූ ඉතාමත් විශාලත සාගරයක් අපිට හිමිව තිබෙනවා. සම්පත් ආකරයක්. ඒකේ මත්ස්‍ය නිෂ්පාදනය සඳහා අපිට තාක්ෂණ ඇතුළත් කරගන්න බැරි වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා දීවර කර්මාන්තයේ නව වර්ධනය, කුෂ් කර්මාන්තයේ නව වර්ධනය, කුඩා තේවත් හිමියාගේ ශේස්ත්‍රයේ නව වර්ධනය, ඒ වගේම ඈත ග්‍රාමීය ජනතාවගේ සුළු හා මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකත්වයක් බවට පත් කිරීමෙන් පමණයි මේ දුප්පත් භාවයේ ගොඩගත එකවන්නේ. දුප්පත් භාවයේ විකිණීම නෙවෙයි අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති. මා දන්නවා 1977 70 විසිට සිදු වී තිබෙන දේ තමයි. දේශපාලකයන් දුප්පත් භාවයේ විකුණනවා. ඔබට කණ්ඩ නෑ නේද? හාල් සිරු දෙකක් දෙන්නම් කියනවා. ඔබට සපත්තු නෑ නේද? සිරප්පු දෙකක් දෙන්න. සිරප්පු දෙක නෑ නේද? සපත්තු දෙකක් එන්නම්. ඔබට ජීවත් වෙන්න විදියක් නෑ නේද? දානි රාත්තල් 8ක් දෙන්නම් කියනවා. ඔබට පාන් ගණන් නේද? 3.50ට පාන් දෙන්නම් කියනවා. අද මොනවද කියන්නේ? ඔබේ දරුවට කිරි විදුරක් දෙන්නම් කියනවා. ඔබේ ගැබිනි මමට ආහාර මල්ලක් දෙන්නම් කියනවා. මේ දුප්පත්කම විකිණීමේ දේශපාලනය. අපිට නිරත වී සිටින්නේ දුප්පත්කම විකිණීමේ දේශපාලනය. අප නිරත වී සිටින්නේ දුප්පත්කම තුරන් කිරීමේ ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්ති අපි ඉදිරිපත් කොට තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මා විශ්වාස කරනවා මෙතෙක් ගමන් කරපු ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තීරණාත්මක ලෙස පරිවර්තනකින් තොරව අපේ රට ඉදිරියට යන්න බැරි වේවි කියන දැඩි විශ්වාසයක් අපි තුල තිබෙනවා.
අඩුවට මගේ ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් තියෙනවා මම ඒකට එන්නම්. Sajith, I don't know whether you noticed you are seated next to a fire. You are seated next to a fire.
Excuse me?
No, I said, did you notice that you are seated next to a fire? Right. So before I get to...
I'm quite used to it.
Okay. So before I get to the real question, 6 of the 7 questions I got now were all to do about corruption. Right? And I think even Anura referred to something. What are your thoughts around how we can reduce corruption in Sri Lanka, especially in the public sector?
I think corruption has a detrimental impact on the nation's economy. It's a drain of valuable, scarce resources. And I believe that legal enactments have to be put in place to ensure that corruption is minimized, if not eliminated. In order to do so, we have to ensure the independence of institutions that are overseeing, monitoring, and bringing to book corrupt activities. And I believe it's extremely important that we focus on this issue with clarity, transparency, and openness. By and large, there seems to be a symbiotic relationship between the various donor individuals and institutions and the politicians. This is because the electoral system and the structure in itself encourages large-scale spending for political campaigns. Inevitably, since there is a necessity for large swaths of sums of funds, not in terms of rupees, in terms of dollars, there is an inbuilt system where corruption, malpractices, and malfeasance is given high priority in the agenda of most politicians. Take, for example, the immense amount of expenditures that have been expended in presidential elections. Where have those funds come from? Were previous governmental practices designed to ensure that such large swaths of funds were generated for potential future elections? The various mega projects that have resulted in Sri Lanka becoming highly indebted, and the citizens of this country are now having a per capita indebtedness reaching up to approximately 600,000 per person.
I think the system in itself is corrupt. The structure in itself is corrupt. And I sincerely believe that there is an urgent necessity for far-reaching campaign finance reforms in this country in order to ensure that there is a level playing field when it comes to the conduct of elections. Now, having said that, I think it's vital that we ensure that we have consensus on the particular governmental structures or mechanisms that are put in place to eradicate corruption. I think there should be consensus across political parties and various political persuasions. And that consensus, that national agreement is important to ensure that there is peer pressure and that there is a societal compulsion on all politicians and all political parties to carry out their campaigns and their governmental policies and their system of governance in a very transparent manner, devoid and free of corruption.
Okay.
Now, if I may have a small chance to express my opinion on the present situation that we face, I'm extremely optimistic. I think we have most of the basics in place. What is needed is innovative thinking, out-of-the-box policy decision-making in order to propel and fast-track the development effort of our country. In order to do so, I think we should persistently and continuously encourage free enterprise. Avoid unnecessary obstacles and hindrances for the wealth-creating mechanism of a country. And I believe free enterprise and flourishing of businesses, both big and small and medium, would provide the most propitious environment for the country to attain economic growth. While achieving higher rates of economic growth is commendable and laudable, it's very important that the benefits and the fruits of growth are distributed in society in a just and fair manner. So what I would promote and encourage is inclusive growth. For decades we have seen a lot of exclusive growth, which has led to income and wealth disparities within Sri Lanka's society. So exclusive growth has to be negated and put aside, and inclusive growth has to be promoted and encouraged. In addition, when we talk of economic development, I fervently believe that knowledge-based development should be given a chance to flourish. In order to do so, I think we have to encourage the implementation of programs in the educational and tertiary educational arena that encourages the youth, especially in our society, to obtain the requisite skills and knowledge, for example, in terms of the digital technological revolution that is taking place in the emerging developing countries. Why we as a country have missed this opportunity? Primarily because policymakers and decision makers have not given adequate priority to encourage and promote and facilitate the digital revolution that is taking place throughout the international arena. And we have missed that opportunity.
Sajid, given that I'm getting so many questions here, can you kindly tell the audience what are the benefits that you are offering in your manifesto for the private sector before I move on again?
Well, I would say, rather than using the word benefits, we are trying to empower the private sector with adequate fiscal support and adequate monetary support. As you know, in any economy, the fiscal and monetary policy balance is of the essence if one is to stabilize the economy and encourage the economy to grow. So as far as fiscal policy is concerned, the most important aspect is to provide the businesses, the private entrepreneurs, with a conducive environment through tax breaks, reducing the tax burden, and simplifying the tax structure. We all have accepted the famous dictum that higher taxes leads to retardation of entrepreneurship, which in turn leads to lesser economic growth. So I think it is vital and important to reduce the tax burden on the wealth generating businesses, both big, medium and small, and free them up to be innovative, to be smart.
So you are giving a commitment that will knock down the taxes, right?
Of course, my manifesto says so.
Yeah.
And
I think we should put our hands together for this.
For those who may respond with cynicism and sarcasm, I have to say my declaratory policies and action policies will be the same. There will be no discrepancies. What I say will be implemented on the ground, and you will be to see it yourself. In addition to that, the monetary policy has to be balanced, and there has to be proper management of the interest rates. We all know, one who has adequate knowledge of basic economics, what we have studied in school and what we have seen in practice, the marginal efficiency of capital theory. As the interest rates go high, as the interest rates go high, there is a disincentive to invest. There's a disincentive to be innovative and start up new businesses. So there has to be a concerted effort to give adequate interest rate relief so that access to capital, access to credit is a benefit that entrepreneurs, both traditional ones and the emerging ones, are given the opportunity of obtaining credit so that they become active participants and stakeholders in the wealth creating mechanism. So I think as far as fiscal and monetary policy is concerned, I'm very mindful of the beliefs and thinking in the business community. And I, for one, will always promote favorable tax policies and interest rate policies in order to encourage thrift, in order to encourage entrepreneurship, in order to encourage that we have the business sector very much motivated, very much ready to propel the economic growth of our country.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's another panel crowd waiting for Mr. Anukumar Disanayak at the Chamber of Commerce, being aware of that. Very interesting question that has been coming up, and it is for all panelists, but I will pose it to Mr. Disanayak. Ape Rajya Sevaya යම් අවස්ථාවල පැවසෙනවා අපිට අවශ්‍ය ලක්ෂ 7යි රජයේ සේවකයෝ. නමුත් මේ වෙනකොට මිලියන 1.5කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් රාජ්‍ය සේවකයෝ ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම ඔබතුමාගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශයේ සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් රාජ්‍යයෙන් යම් දේවල් කිරීම ගැන සඳහන් වෙනවා. මේ සන්දර්භය තුල කොහොමද මේ සංඛ්‍යාව එක්ක අඩු කරනවද නැත්නම් කොහොමද මේ බර නිදහස් කරන්න එක ගොඩක් ආපු ප්‍රශ්නයක්.
ඔව් මම හිතනවා විශේෂ සංවාදයකට සහ සාකච්ඡාවට බඳුන් වී තිබෙනවා අපේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය පිළිබඳව. බොහෝ සාකච්ඡාවල ඇවිල්ලා තිබෙන්නේ මේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය අපිට බරක්. මේක අපේ ආර්ථිකයට ඔරොත්තු දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන සංවාදය තමයි උඩට ඇවිල්ලා තිබෙන්නේ. මම විශ්වාස කරනවා ඔබ උදාහරණයකට ගත්තොත් මම හිතන අපේ ප්‍රවාහන නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරයා ඉන්නවා. අපි CTB එකේ බස් ප්‍රමාණය සංසන්දනය කළ බැලුවොත් බස් එකකට සේවකයෝ 8 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. බස් එකකට සේවකයෝ 8 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒතර මේ බස් එක අඩුම තරමේ ආදායමක උපයන්න ඕන ඒ 8 දෙනාගේ වැටුප් වෙනුවෙන්. මම හිතනවා ඒක කරන්න බෑ. සිදු වී තිබෙන පහුගිය කාලේ පුරාවටම අපේ මේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය ඒ දේශපාලන අයගේ උවමනාව විසින් පුරවනු ලැබුවා. කාලයක් විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයේ පිරුණේ මහනුවරින්. ඊළඟ කාලයක පිරවෙනවා කෑගල්ලෙන්. තව කාලයක පෙට්‍රෝලියම් එක පිරවෙනවා ගිරිඋල්ලෙන්. ඒ නිසා මේ සියල්ල රාජ්‍ය ආයතන දේශපාලකයන් Tamanගේ බලය තහවුරු කර ගැනීම සඳහා විනාශ කරපු ආයතන බවට පත් වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ සේවකයන් බඳවා ගැනීම, සේවකයන්ට උසස් වීම ලබා දීම, අවශ්‍ය වෙන මාරු වීම ලබා දීම මුළුමනින්ම දේශපාලනත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි පළමු ප්‍රයත්න තමයි අපේ රාජ්‍ය සේවය මත මේ බර තබා තිබෙන දේශපාලන හස්තය රාජ්‍ය සේවයෙන් ඉවත් කරනවා. කිසිසේත්ම තමන්ගේ මැතිවරණ ව්‍යාපාරය වෙනුවෙන් රැකියාවක් ලබා දීමේ ප්‍රතිපත්තියකට අපි යන්නේ නැහැ රාජ්‍ය සේවය. දැන් පළමු ප්‍රතිපත්තිය. දෙක දැන් ගොඩගැසී තිබෙන රාජ්‍ය සේවයට මොකද කරන්නේ? මා විශ්වාස කරන මේ කිසිවෙක් අපිට ඉවත් කිරීමේ හැකියාවක් නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අපි කළ යුතු වන්නේ ඒ අය ඵලදායීතාවයෙන් යොදවා ගැනීම සඳහා අපිට සැලැස්මක් අවශ්‍ය වී තිබෙනවා. උදාහරණයකට ගත්තොත් ඔබ දන්නවද? අපේ ග්‍රාම සේවක වසමකට රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන් 4 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ආසන්න වශයෙන් ග්‍රාම සේවක වසමකට වැටුප් සඳහා පමණක් ලක්ෂ 2කට ආසන්න මුදලක් වැය වෙනවා. ඒ කිසිසේත්ම අපි වනේ රටකට ඔරොත්තු දෙන එකක් නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි මේ පත්වීම් සියල්ල බලපුවාම ඒ මොහොතේ තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන අර්බුද දේශපාලන වමනාව වෙනුවෙන් පුරවන ලබදී. ඒ නිසා මම විශ්වාස කරනවා රාජ්‍ය සේවය මුදවා ගැනීමත් දැන් බරක් බවට පත් වී තිබෙන කණ්ඩායම් වලට ඵලදායීතාවයෙන් යුතුව රාජ්‍ය සේවයට යොදවා ගැනීම සඳහා සැලැස්මක් අපිට අවශ්‍ය වී තිබෙනවා. ඊළඟ මේ රාජ්‍ය සේවයත් එක්ක බැඳෙන විශේෂම අපිව ප්‍රශ්න කරන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි ඔබලා රාජ්‍ය මත පදනම් වූ ආර්ථිකයද ඉස්සරහට ගෙන යමින් තිබෙන්නේ පෞද්ගලික අංශය අත්තරින එකක්ද කියලා. ඔක තමයි මම හිතන්නේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ යට මම හිතනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ යට ඒ අඩංගු වී තිබුණා. ඔබලා පෞද්ගලික අංශය කරේ දක්වන ප්‍රතිපත්තිය කුමක්ද? මම විශ්වාස කරනවා අපේ රටේ ගමන් ඉදිරි මාවත රඳා පවතින්නේ රාජ්‍ය හා පෞද්ගලික අංශයේ ඒකබද්ධතාවයක් මත. මුළුමනින්ම රාජ්‍ය මත හෝ මුළුමනින්ම පෞද්ගලික අංශය මත නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි පෞද්ගලික අංශයට සිදු වී තිබෙන්නේ කුමක්ද? කවර හෝ පාලනයක් ඔබට තව අවුරුදු 10කින් අපේ ශේෂ්ත්‍රවල ඉලක්ක ලබා දී තිබෙනවාද? මා දන්නවා මෙතන ඉදිකිරීම් ශේෂ්ත්‍ර අදාළ කණ්ඩායම් ඉන්න ආණ්ඩුවක් විසින් ඔබට ඉදිරිපත් කර තිබෙනවාද? 2030 දී අපි අපේ රටේ ඉදිකිරීම් කර්මාන්තය ගෙන යන තැන ඔබට ඉදිරිපත් කොට තිබෙනවාද? අපේ රටේ කිරි කර්මාන්තය තව අවුරුදු 10කින් කොතෙන්ද ගෙන යන්නේ කියලා. අපි තා සැලසුම් සාගතව අපේ රටේ අත්‍යවශ්‍ය තැන් අපි අවුරුදු 10ක ඉලක්කයක් හදනවා. අන්න ඉලක්කය සඳහා අපි පෞද්ගලික අංශයට ආරාධනා කරනවා. රාජ්‍ය විසින් මේ ආර්ථිකය තෝරාගත්තු ශේෂ්ත්‍ර සංවර්ධන සැලැස්මක් හදනවා. ඒ සංවර්ධන සැලැස්ම සඳහා පෞද්ගලික අංශය දායක කර ගැනීම තමයි අපේ අපේක්ෂාව. එසේ නැත්නම් පෞද්ගලික අංශයට අද සිදු වී තිබෙන දේ තමයි රටේ ආර්ථිකයේ කුමන තැනකටද වර්ධනය වේවිද? ආර්ථිකයේ මොන ශේෂ්ත්‍රයක් මොන තැනකට ඒවිද කියලා අදහසක් නැතුව කල්පනා කර ආයෝජන යොදවන සිදු වී තිබෙනවා. දාන්න හිතෙනවා, අත්තරින්න හිතෙනවා. ආය ගන්න හිතෙනවා, ආය අකුලන්න හිතෙනවා. ඒ වෙනුවට දිගු කාලීන ආර්ථික සැලැස්මක් අපි ඔබට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. ඒ සඳහා ඔබේ දායකත්වය ලබා ගන්න. ඒ වගේම පෞද්ගලික සෙනෙහල සියලු ව්‍යාපාරික මහතුරුට මා කියන්න කැමතියි. ඔබගේ ආයෝජනයක් හෝ ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාරික අවස්ථාවක් හෝ ලබා ගැනීම වෙනුවෙන් කිසිදු දේශපාලකයෙක් පස්සේ නොයා යුතුයි. එහෙම නොයන තත්ත්වයක් අපි නිර්මාණය කරනවා. ඔබගේ ආයෝජනය යහපත් නම් ඔබට ඒ සඳහා අවශ්‍ය බැංකු වලින් සහනයක් අවශ්‍ය නම් ඒ ඔබගේ ආයෝජනයේ ප්‍රතිලාභ මත තමයි ලබාගත හැකි වන්නේ. නමුත් අද මා දන්නවා ගොඩාක් අයට තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන හිතවත්කම් මත තමයි ව්‍යාපාර කරන්න පුළුවන් ද බැද්ද කියන නිර්ණායක තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක අවසන් කරනවා. ඊළඟ ව්‍යාපාර ලෝකේ නීත්‍යානුකූල තත්ත්වයක් නිර්මාණය කරනවා. අපි වාණිජ විද්‍යාවේදී ඉගෙන ගන්නවා වරායම් බහඬ නිදහස් කර ගැනීම කියලා එකක්. හැබැයි බොහෝ දෙනා කරන්නේ වරායම් බඩු පැන්නීම. මොකද මේ කරන්නේ? ඉගෙන ගන්න නිදහස් කර ගැනීම. හැබැයි ඔබ දුරකථනෙන් අහන්නේ අද කොහොම හරි පන්න ගත්තද කියලා. එයි ඔබට නිසි පරිදි වරායට බදු පෙන්නලා ඔබට වෙළඳපොළට එන්න බෑ. ඇයි? පන්නපු බඩු වෙළඳපොලේ තියෙනවා. ඔබට නිසි පරිදි ආදායම් බදු දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට ඔබගේ ආදායම් පෙන්වන්න බෑ. අපි සාමාන්‍ය වාණිජ විද්‍යාව ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. හැම ව්‍යාපාරිකම කෑෂ් බුක් එකක් තියා යන්න ඕන කියලා. එදිනෙදා තියෙන වියදම් ගනුදෙනු ලියන්න ඕන. ඔබ කෑෂ් බුක් එකක් තියා යනවා ඔබගේ අවබෝධයට තව එකක් තියා යනවා ආණ්ඩුවට පෙන්වන්න. ඇත්ත. ඒ සිදුවී තිබෙන්නේ කොහොමද? ඔබ නිවැරදි පරිදි ආදායම් බදු ගෙවුවොත් ආදායම් බදු නිසි පරිදි නොගෙවෙන කණ්ඩායමක් එක ඔබට තරම් කරන්න සිදුවී තිබෙනවා. මේක වෙලා නැද්ද? ඉතින් සෑම ව්‍යාපාරිකයකටම කැමැත්තෙන් හෝ අකමැත්තෙන් මේ යාන්ත්‍රණය ඇතුලේ තමන්ගේ ව්‍යාපාරය පවත්වාගෙන යන්න සිදුවී තිබෙනවා. අපි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දෙන ප්‍රධානම සාධකය තමයි අප ව්‍යාපාරික ලෝකය නිසි පරිදි නියාමයකට ලක් වෙන සහ නීත්‍යානුකූල ව්‍යාපාරවල යෙදෙන්න පුළුවන් පරිසරයක් නිර්මාණය කරනවා. මොකද මට වරායම් බඩු පන්නන්න මට එහෙම ව්‍යාපාරිකයෙක් නෙවෙයි. මට බදු ෆයිල් හංගන්න මම එහෙම ව්‍යාපාරිකයෙක් නෙවෙයි. මම දේශපාලකයෙක්. ඒ නිසා සියලු ව්‍යාපාරවල සමාන අවස්ථා නිර්මාණය කිරීම අපේ අපේක්ෂා. තුන්වෙනි එක. පෞද්ගලික අංශය අපි වර්ධනයක් පිළිබඳ අපේක්ෂා කරන අතර මම විශ්වාස කරනවා රාජ්‍ය අංශයේ සමහර ශේෂ්ත්‍ර තිබෙනවා අත්තරින්න ඕන. ඒක එක යුගයකදී රාජ්‍ය අංශය ආර්ථික ප්‍රසාරණය කිරීම සඳහා රාජ්‍ය ප්‍රාග්ධන යොදවලා එම ශේෂ්ත්‍ර ඉදිරියට ගත්තා. ඉදිරියට ගත්තාට පසු රාජ්‍ය අංශයක අත්තරින්න ඕන. මා කියන්නේ ශේෂ්ත්‍ර මොනවද කියලා. නමුත් අපි කතා කරලා තෝරාගමු. අපි ලෑස්ති ඒකට. හැබැයි ඒ වගේම මම ඔබට කියන්න කැමතියි සමහර ශේෂ්ත්‍ර තිබෙනවා රාජ්‍ය මැදිහත් වීමක් ඕන. අපේ තියෙන කුඩා වෙළඳපොළ ආසන්න වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් අපේ වී නිෂ්පාදනය වෙන්නේ වසරකට මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් ලක්ෂ 38යි. මේ මෙට්‍රික් ටොන් ලක්ෂ 38ට ඉතා කුඩා ව්‍යාපාරික කීප දෙනෙකුට වී වෙළඳපොළ ඒකාධිකාරීත්වයක් හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා තමයි අපේ රටේ වී මිල අඩු වෙලා හාල් මිල වැඩි වෙන්නේ. අපිට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් වී මිල අඩු වෙනම් හාල් මිල අඩු වෙන්න ඕන. වී මිල වැඩි නම් හාල් මිල වැඩි වෙන්න ඕන. අපේ රටේ සිදුවී තිබෙන්නේ කුමක්ද? වී මිල අඩුයි හාල් මිල වැඩි. මෙතන විකෘතියක් තිබෙනවා. මේ විකෘති ඇති වී තිබෙන්නේ වී ගබඩා කිරීම, වී සහල් බවට පත් කිරීම, වී තොග වෙන දාමෙත් ඒකාධිකාරීත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වී තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි කිසිසේත්ම ජනතාවට අත්‍යවශ්‍ය ශේෂ්ත්‍රවල ඒකාධිකාරීත්වයක් නිර්මාණය වෙන්න ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට රාජ්‍ය මැදිහත්වීමක් අපි ඇති කරනවා. මොකද ජනතාවට අවශ්‍ය සේවාවන් තරඟකාරීත්වයෙන් ගැනීමේ හැකියාව අපි නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඕනකම තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඔබගේ බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තිය. මා කියන වසරෙන් වසරට ඔබගේ බදු වෙනස් වෙන සංකීර්ණ මම දන්නවා සමහර ව්‍යාපාරවලට වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මට සමහර අය ගණන් හදලා පෙන්නුවා. ඔහුගේ කළමනාකාරීත්වය විශාල පැයපංගුවක් වැය කරන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ බදු ෆයිල් හදන්න. මොකද මේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? වසරෙන් වසරට අඩුම තරමේ වසර 5ක් පාලකයෙක් වෙනවා. ඒ පාලකයාට වසර 5කවත් ස්ථාවර බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් අනුගමනය කරගන්න බැරි වී තිබෙනවා. අපි ඔබට අවුරුදු 5ක නිශ්චිත ස්ථාවර බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් හඳුන්වා දෙනවා. එනිසා ඔබ කවුරුවත් අයවැය ලේඛනයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරනකොට බය වෙන්න ඕනේ. අද මොකද සිදුවී තිබෙන්නේ? අයවැය ලේඛන ඉදිරිපත් කරනකොට හැම ව්‍යාපාරිකම හොල්මන් වෙලා ඉන්නේ. මට මොකක්ද සිදුවේවි? අද මොකක්ද සිදුවේවිද? ඊට කලින් ආනයන කරනවාද? ආනයන කිරීම පව් කරනවාද? මේම සිදුවී නැද්ද? නිසා ස්ථාවරත්වයක් ඕන. ඒ නිසා බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තිය සරල කරමින් ස්ථාවරත්වයක් අඩුම තරමේ වසර 5කට ස්ථාවර බදු ප්‍රතිපත්තියකට අපි ගේනවා. ඒ නිසා ඔබට ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාරය පිළිබඳ පුරෝකථනයක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාරය ආයෝජනය කරන්න කොයි දිශාවටද කියලා පුරෝකථනයක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔබට ඔබගේ ආයෝජන කොමන දිශාවට හරවන්න ඕන කියලා පුරෝකථනයක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා අද සිංහල භාෂාවෙන් කියනවා ඉබාගාති. සලස්මක් ඍතු ඉබාගාතේ ගමන් කරන පෞද්ගලික අංශයක් වෙනකොට සැලසුම් සහගතව මෙහෙවන පෞද්ගලික අංශයක් නිර්මාණය කරනවා රටේ ජනතාවගේ සහ රටේ සංවර්ධනය අභිවෘද්ධිය වෙනුවෙන්. ඒක තමයි පෞද්ගලික ජනසය පිළිබඳ අපේ ස්ථාවරය.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Please, Arura, before you go, just listen to this answer. There's a good question to Mr. Premadasa. The question is, if you get elected as president, what will Sri Lanka look like in 2025?
Peaceful, stable, shared prosperity, inclusive growth, exports-based economic growth. We would have reached the highest echelons in the digital revolution. We will have a strong and vibrant, youthful group of policy administrators who will be guiding the country, and people will be there with a smile.
What about the international relations between managing China and India?
I think when we look at international foreign relations and international economic and trade relations, first and foremost, the policy decision makers and the country as a whole, we all should have a clear-cut definition of what is our national interest. If the policymakers and the country as a whole are very clear-cut about what our national interests are, I think most of these disputes and arguments that are raised primarily for political reasons by various sectors who do not have their economic fundamentals and development fundamentals in place, it is very important that we have a national consensus. By and large, we may not be able to have total agreement, but by and large, the country should have a set of national interests and national objectives which the country agrees upon. And we have to ensure that in any relationship, both political and trade, that as a country, we achieve a comparative advantage in our relationships. It should be a comparative political advantage, and it should be a comparative trade advantage. If we follow that particular principle and dictum, we call it in Sinhala සාපේක්ෂ වාසිය. සාපේක්ෂ වාසිය මත පදනම් වුණු ඕනම දේශපාලන සමගතාවයක් හෝ විදේශීය සමගතාවයක් තුළ අපේ රටට බොහොම ප්‍රගතිශීලී ගමනක් යන්නට පුළුවන්. So we have to ensure that international trade and political relationships are not formulated according to the whims and fancies of a few. You cannot have a small cabal of personnel deciding on the national interest. We have to have a national discussion and a national debate, and we have to continue to relate to the people. We need to get proper advice from specialists and from professionals in terms of these particular arenas, because as far as governance is concerned, throughout the decades, policy decision making has been by and large ad hoc, very much resorting to knee-jerk reactions. If you have your favorites coming and whispering in your ear, my dear king, this is good for the country, the day after it becomes a governmental policy. That is not the way to go. I think when governing a country, we have to have a rational process whereby the national interest governs all policy making. And I sincerely believe that in terms of international political relations, trade and economic relations, we have to ensure that we achieve the national interest and not the interest of outside actors, be it governmental, be it institutional, be it any other organization, governmental or otherwise. We have to ensure that we ourselves as a country is fully in control of the decision-making processes, and we should never ever allow outside forces to dictate our national policy agenda.
Anura, I know you had to address Silanche, but one final question before you leave. Any good policy that supports the private sector, will the JVP be willing to support the government of the day?
මම හිතනවා අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් සහ තවත් ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් අතර වෙනස්කමක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා කිසිදු මොහොවීමක් හෝ ඒකාබද්ධ වීමක් සිදුවීමට ඉඩකඩක් නැහැ. ඒ මොකද මේ අනුගමනය කරමින් තිබෙන ආර්ථික දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතික ප්‍රතිපත්ති මුළුමනින්ම වෙනවීමකින් තොරව අපේ රට ඉදිරි ගමනක් නැහැ කියන එක තමයි අපේ විශ්වාසය. මම අවසන් වශයෙන් කිව්වොත් අපේ රට ගොඩනැගීමේ ප්‍රධානම අත්තිවාරම වෙන්නේ කුමක්ද? කුමන කුළුණු තුන මතද අපේ රට ගොඩනගන්නේ? අපිට ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිපත්ති, අධ්‍යාපනීය, සෞඛ්‍ය ආදී ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් අතර විශාල විවාදයක් සංවාදයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි රටක් ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා ප්‍රධාන කුළුණු තුනක් තිබෙනවා. එක, නීතියේ විධානයේ ආධිපත්‍යය නිසි පරිදි තහවුරු වීම. අපේ රටේ අද සිදුවී තිබෙන දේ තමයි ධනවත් බලවත් අයට එක නීතියකුත්, දුප්පත් දුබල අයට තව නීතියකුත්. මා හිතන්නේ නැහැ එහෙම රටකට ඉස්සරහට යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ධනවත්ද දුප්පත්ද බලවත්ද දුබලද කියන ભેදකින් තොරව හැම දිනාටම සාධාරණ නීතියක් හිටවන රටක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඕන. ඒක තමයි පළමු ස්තම්භය. දෙක, වංචාව, දූෂණය, නාස්තියෙන් තොර පාලනය. ඔබ විශ්වාස කරනවද ලෝකයේ කොහේ හරි වංචනිකයෙක් හදපු රටක්? වංචනිකයෙක් රටක් හදනවා? රටක් නෙවෙයි, ඔබගේ ආයතනය ඇතුළේ කවුරු හරි වංචනිකයෙක් ආයතනයේ දීපල හොරකම් කරනවා නම් ආයතනත් බිඳ වැටෙනවා. නිසා රටක් ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා වංචාවෙන්, දූෂණයෙන්, නාස්තියෙන් තොර පාලනයක් අවශ්‍යයි. අපි ඔබට සහතිකයක් දෙනවා මේ රටේ වංචාවෙන්, දූෂණයෙන් තොර, නාස්තියෙන් තොර පාලනයක් අපි හදනවා. ඒක තමයි දෙවෙනි ස්තම්භය. තුන්වෙනි ස්තම්භය මහජන ආරක්ෂාව සහ ජාතික සමගිය. අපිට ආරක්ෂාව නැතුව හැමදාම අපි සිංහල, දෙමළ, මුස්ලිම් ජනයා අතර ගැටුම් ඇති කරගනිමින්, යුද්ධ ඇති කරගනිමින් රටක් ඉස්සරහට යන්න බෑ. දැන් රටක් ගොඩනැගිවි තුන්වෙනි කරුණ මහජන ආරක්ෂාව සහ ජාතික සමගිය. ඒ නිසා අපේ රට ගොඩනැගීමේ ප්‍රධාන ස්තම්භ තුන අත්තිවාරම් බවට පත් වෙන්නේ නීති විධානයේ ආධිපත්‍යයත්, වංචාවෙන්, දූෂණයෙන් තොර පාලනයකුත්, මහජන ආරක්ෂාව සහ ජාතික සමගිය ගොඩනැගුණු රටක්. මම විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ අත්තිවාරම ගොඩනැගීමකින් තොරව අපිට ආර්ථිකය පිළිබඳව, අධ්‍යාපනය පිළිබඳව, සෞඛ්‍ය පිළිබඳව කවර ප්‍රතිපන්තීන් තිබුණත් මේ මූලික අත්තිවාරම ගොඩනගන්න නැතුව යන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා අපි ප්‍රධානම ප්‍රයත්න සහ ප්‍රධානම උත්සාහය තිබෙන්නේ මේ අත්තිවාරම පිහිටවීම. අපි ඔබට සහතිකයක් දෙනවා. අපි නීති විධානයේ ආධිපත්‍ය කවදාවත් කඩන්නේ නැහැ. අපි වංචාවේ, දූෂණේ, නාස්තියේ කවදාවත් යෙදෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ජාතිවාදයේ ගැටුම්වාදී දේශපාලනයක අපි නිරත වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මා විශ්වාස කරනවා අපේ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්න නම් මේ ස්තම්භ තුන, මේ අත්තිවාරම ගොඩනැගිය යුතුයි. අපි අත්තිවාරම ගොඩනගාපුවට ඔබට අවසන් වශයෙන් මා සහතික වෙනවා.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
I would like to invite Mr. Dinesh Virakodi to present a token of appreciation to Honorable Anura Kumar Disanayake. A souvenir plus a gift courtesy Louis Ceylon.
Anura Kumar referred to national security. What is your strategy to bring back confidence to the public that the country will be safe?
I think when we address the issue of national security, we have to look at basically two aspects. We have to possess the requisite machinery and structures and mechanisms to ensure that national security interests are achieved. Most important is to depoliticize the security apparatus consisting of the three forces, police and the civil defense force. The depoliticization process should be accelerated. We have, to a certain extent, established independent commissions that have given the independence for the police especially to take decisions on behalf of the country, but I think you have to go a bit further and ensure that the systems in place are devoid of political interference. We have seen on several occasions where those who are in power have intervened with the security forces to achieve their personal agenda and their personal objectives. This should not be the case. We have to ensure that the security forces have total independence, free from political interference in their policy implementations and in discharging their duties. And we also have to ensure that the necessary structures are in place to face the modern day challenges to national security. The issue of national security, in my mind, has several aspects. Of course, there is a tendency to focus on military security, which is fair enough. I think it should be given the highest priority, no doubt. I think our armed forces have to be modernized, trained, and appropriately equipped to face the modern day challenges of terrorism. The terrorism that we faced for 3 decades was a particular type of terrorism, which I don't think is the one that we face right now. What we face right now is a type of terrorism which is led by lesser numbers, creating maximum collateral and physical damage, maiming people, and creating death and mayhem. And I think greater priority has to be given to the intelligence services and the intelligence channels. And those aspects have to be strengthened and depoliticized. We will have special procedures in place, special structures in place that would address the issue of national security in a very, very surgical manner. In addition to the military security aspect, there is the economic aspect. If you examine the export destinations of Sri Lanka's exports, the vast majority, it's confined to 2 or 3 countries or groupings of countries. Now, this creates a serious situation of economic vulnerability, where those particular countries can use that as a bargaining tool and as leverage to decide on Sri Lanka's domestic policy. So we have to ensure that we embark on a process of export diversification. And that has to be a concerted governmental program, which we will go ahead with. And we have to look at social security. We have to have a safety net for the less fortunate in society. If we go back in time to the civil strife that took place in 1971 and in the late 80s, it was primarily the conclusions of the Youth Commission were that the youth of the day thought that there was a purposeful effort by governmental structures to ensure that the haves in society further prosper, and there was no hope at all for the have-nots in society. So we have to ensure that, excuse me, we have to ensure that you have to focus on the social security aspect of national security, ensure that that people feel that the system is just and fair, and that there's adequate and equitable redistribution of income and wealth among all sectors of Sri Lanka society. And then again, look at the issue of political security. We had the situation several years ago whereby the then administration encouraged extremism, encouraged religious extremism to the extent that places of worship were destroyed, and this created enmity and disharmony within the various ethnic religious groupings in our society. So it's all and fine to talk about unity, territorial integrity, sovereignty, political independence of our country in our constitution. But I sincerely believe that such sentiments, such positive sentiments have to be in the hearts and minds of all of our people, irrespective of caste, creed, ethnic or religious persuasion. That is very important. Okay. So national security as a subject per se has a variety of perspectives. I do agree that the military security aspect should be given priority, should be prioritized, but one must not ignore the economic, social, and political aspects of national security.
Okay, thank you. There are
Dinesh,
just one question from before I move on. This Rohan, you are a multimillionaire businessman, right? I mean, a lot of people are quite surprised when you decided to contest, yes. Right? I'm going to shift the question a little bit and ask you, what do you really expect from the winner as a private sector businessman?
Well, firstly, a long wait, and nevertheless, let me thank the International Chamber of Commerce for organizing this, and we all can be content of the fact that today's proceeds are being utilized for a worthy cause, that is in developing the cancer hospital, Apeksha. Well, now your question is
a generous contribution also from you.
Yeah, at all. And your question is that what I would expect from the winner. In other words, you're asking myself that I should be asking myself. Well, very well. I might be carrying coals to Newcastle, but I have to, because most of the faces in the audience are familiar to me, and you know the kind of business that I'm involved in. But still, although I'm carrying coals to Newcastle, I will once again state it, because the relevance is still intact. I manufacture the impact sensor for the automobile airbag, and all the big brand names in the world are using it. And the uniqueness of what I do is its quality requirement, which is called 1 ppm quality. That is 1 part per million is the defect tolerance rate. And that is the highest level of quality anywhere in the world. There is no quality beyond that. So when I embarked on this, I was told by many that it would be impossible to do this in Sri Lanka. But looking at all the great monuments built by our ancestors almost 2,000 years ago, and the precision work that they had undertaken, I was convinced to the contrary. I thought that this DNA must be somewhere in our people. This gene must be somewhere in our people. I thought by providing the right leadership that I can rekindle this DNA. And here I am, I have been right. And this is the kind of confidence that I'm bringing after crossing over to politics. This is the kind of confidence that I'm trying to instill, inculcate in the minds of the people of this country, that we Sri Lankans can do it. So because as you know, the airbag sensor is something that can distinguish between life and death. Because if the sensor does not work for an impact, you might be in the land of living or you might not be in the land of living. So if the world can entrust to a country like Sri Lanka a critical component like the airbag sensor, what cannot they entrust to Sri Lanka? So therefore, what I would be looking at is, if you ask me one single question, how do we come out with this economic deadlock or this economic morass as it is now? I would suggest that we need about US dollars 10 billion foreign direct investment within a very short period of time, maybe within 12 months. Not just to put it in the stock market and take it back, but within a short period, we will need about 10 billion foreign direct investment. And at the rate that things are happening now, people might wonder because, is it possible? Because we are not sending the right investment signals to the world. But of course, with the right leadership, let me tell you, it is possible. Because I declared my candidacy 3 years ago. And I have been traveling the world. And when I calculate the pledges, it comes to a few billions. And of course, we will have to fast track these investments. Because what is important as to how I manage, because you might say there are state institutes and they have failed. You know, even the BOI has, it was less than 1 billion. But let me tell you, you have to understand the psyche of an investor. You have to understand as to what triggers in the mind of an investor before they make that investment decision. So for a leader, for an entrepreneur leader who has a political will, certainly can convince, of course he'll have to do some traveling, he can convince the world to come and invest in Sri Lanka. That is what I would do if I'm elected, if and once I'm elected to that office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think to be gender sensitive, we have the only female candidate sitting next to me and we haven't asked a question. And Doctor, there is a question straight down your path. This question says, we are very vulnerable to the climatic changes in the world. And how will your policies make sure that we will be living?
Thank you. I'm happy to be able to speak right now because I think I was kept very quiet for almost 1 hour. And I was beginning to feel whether there are first-class presidential candidates and second-class presidential candidates.
Madam, we were going by this.
Okay. Basically, before I speak about the climate change issues, I would like to say something about the development itself. Basically, there are a few principles that underlie when you are the president. Number one, I think where we have gone wrong in Sri Lanka in terms of development is number one is when you become the president, you need to give up your political party. This has not happened in Sri Lanka, and I think one of the reasons why the development has got so slowed down in Sri Lanka is because when a person becomes the president, they work so hard to enhance their political party than the development of the country. So therefore, I firmly believe we need to make sure that this policy remains. Second thing is how do we really bring about policies in Sri Lanka? We normally whether it be the fisheries policy, whether it be the housing policy, or the agricultural policy of the country, is generally produced, the policies are produced by consultants. They're done by consultants, but not by those who are actually involved in the sector. One of the reasons why development got slowed down again is because the fishery policy is developed by someone who's other than a fisherman. And the voice of the fisherman is not included in the policy. Rather, it comes from either from outside or it's done by someone who's an academic on fishery subject area. Same way with farming, why our farmers are struggling today is because our policies are not based on the needs of the farming community. And so eventually, the farming community does not know exactly how the agricultural sector is run. They don't agree with it. And their grievances are huge. And so we need to ensure the voice of the farmers is heard as included in the policy. Same way with the laborers in the industrial sector, their voices, their grievances, their needs need to be included in it. Another thing that happens very often, whenever a new minister is appointed, they change the policy. So we have a country called Sri Lanka where the policies are constantly being changed, and every 5 years or whatever it may be, people are coming up with new things. So I think if we are going towards development, sustainable development, we need to ensure that the policies are related to those who actually work in the sector. And they should not be changed. No matter which government comes, who comes into power, it should remain the same. Second thing is we have we need to work very hard on the ethnic issues because we have a problem between the north, the east, and the south. Without laying down firm foundations, without listening to the voice of the people, we cannot even bring about a development. And so I just want to say right now, I have been traveling to Jaffna, to the eastern sectors, and people are not happy. Because every area, the northern sector, the people of north wants to develop their sector according to their dreams and their wishes. That sector belongs to them. The area belongs to them. And so we need to make sure that the development really happens in such a way that the people's participation, people's needs are looked after, and their voices are heard. The third thing is, when we are actually doing development, do we really think about the sectors themselves? I just want to give examples of two sectors. The garment factories, where the women are working 8 hours a day, and they spend all 8 hours standing. They work only standing for 8 long hours, and they are paid only 15,000 rupees, or even the maximum is 21,000 rupees. And when they don't even have a place where they can actually rest, they don't even have a place where they can actually live well. And they have huge grievances. So, how can we develop when the people who are working in the industries are not happy themselves? Let's look at the tea plantations. We talk about the tea plantations in a very fairy style. We glamorize it. You know, we talk so lovely about it. But have we realized that those who are plucking tea and bringing a great name for Ceylon tea, most of them have lived in those estates for 40 years, and many don't even have a proper toilet. And they have had to wait such a long time to bring their grievances. So this is the situation right now in Sri Lanka. And we are talking about development. And we need to be very careful and sure of as to what we are talking, because the next president has a huge task of making sure that the voice of the people are heard, the people's grievances are looked after before any development can take place. Now, to answer your question on climate change, because the climate change is something that we cannot change, because everything else that I spoke about, we can change right now. It's up to us. It's up to the next president. But the climate change is an issue which is because of man-made as well, but it is something happening all over the world. With regard to the development and climate change, one of the most important things we need to remember is we, in Sri Lanka, we bring about a lot of development projects, but they are always haphazard. Just because some money comes into the country for a development project, we accept the project, we want to do that project somehow, and then we always forget the environmental regulations that are required in the development process. Environmental impact assessment. Environmental impact assessments are only done when the people in the area where the development project is actually happening are screaming loud and saying there are many issues. Then they remember the environmental impact assessment and they actually do one. I really want to talk about two issues: Port City, Aruwakkalu dump site. Both of them did not start with an environmental impact assessment report. The purpose of an environmental impact assessment report is to ensure that when you actually do that project in a given site, that you want to know what are the negative impacts of that project on the site. And then, as a scientist, you would be able to say, these negative impacts would happen in this area if this project comes. How do you mitigate the negative impacts? How do you make sure that the negative impacts are minimized? The next one is, in the environmental impact assessment report that should be included, is a monitoring plan. In Sri Lanka, most of the work, most of the development projects fail because of lack of monitoring, both financial monitoring as well as social monitoring and developmental monitoring. Most of the time, we forget that. So we need to make sure that side is looked after.
Madam, I'll stop you. I promise you I'll come back to you again. Right? Can we move on to Gamini?
Yeah.
Because there are 200-300
Okay, let me just
I'll come
finish.
back to you. I promise you I'll come back to you.
Will you ask the question?
Yeah, Gamini. Yeah. Gamini, is the general coming on air? Okay, so, yeah. Gamini, keep it short. Huh?
Gamini, the question that has come and the question that I was going to ask is, of the people's movement, National People's Movement, what is the economic thrust on which you are approaching to come up from where we are?
To be fair by our first-class presidential candidate, I need little bit time to explain what we stand for, because National People Movements being relatively a new organization, and then I will come to the economic policy. This movement was started 4 years ago. I don't have to reiterate the problems the country is going through, because that was expressed by most of the other candidates, which every one of you all are aware of. But as a number of educated people, professionals, and people who love this country, we felt that the main two political parties who govern this country, they have failed to fulfill the aspirations of the people of this country. And to that, as part of the people, those who have educated through the free education system from this country, we are accountable and we are responsible to ensure that it is changed. That's how the National People's Movement was born. So we have been working on this for the last 4 years, and initially we started as a pressure group. Initially we wanted to work with any of the government and to give them the correct direction and the guidance to put this country forward on the correct direction. But then later on we realize when there is no people power behind you, the governments go ahead and do what they want to do. One classic example is we had number of interactions is the Singapore Free Trade Agreement. As a group of people, we have concerns. After doing that, the significant difference here is Mahesh Senanayake, the general, he in the army, up to August 18th, we did not know him personally even. But nevertheless, as a group, when we got together, we decided we all are rallying around towards ideology, towards a policy. So who could be the best candidate who can challenge and bringing a turn to this current corrupted political climate. With that in mind, we approached him and then we had a discussion with him and we brought in him. We would say we are using him. I mean, very, very crude way we are using him, which he is also aware of, as against most of the other candidates. They are being promoted by political parties, and some of them are self-proclaimed, whereas we tell him that he is the only non-partisan national candidate, because he does not belong to any political party, whereas according to the regulatory requirements, there he has to contest through a political party. That is why he is contesting through the National People's Party. Coming back to the economy, which plays a very, very important role, why we formed this civil organization. When you go back, you see some of those things already shared by some of the people, Dr. Ajanta and Nandra Kumar especially. 42% of the population of this country, they are agricultural community, and their daily income is less than $2. On the other hand, we are talking about increasing the GDP per capita to 10,000, 12,000. So what is it we are talking? We have totally forgotten about a less marginalized, underprivileged, larger section of the society. One. The second thing is who brings in dollars to this country. We said all these three ladies. Who are these three ladies? Those who are working in the plantation sector, those who are working in the garment sector, and those who are working in the Middle East. Any of the previous governments, have they had a concerted effort to ensure that their livelihood and their income levels are increased? No. Just simply think about, rather than talking, no, I'm not saying just to disregard, but if you focus on our agricultural community, and if you can increase their daily income by just $1, what would be the contribution to the GDP? What would be the contribution to the private sector, other enterprises? Their buying power will go back and it will be a cyclic effect. So why we are not looking at that way? So we are talking about a middle income trap. To overcome middle income trap, basically we are talking about a four-prong attack. First one is we talk about how you can facilitate export-led industrial growth. When we talk about export-led industrial growth, which should be based on our intellectual capital and the mineral and the other resources which we have. Very simple example is, if you look at the tea exports, tea smallholders, they bring in twice the contribution what the tea plantation companies brings to our coffers. So does that mean that we have failed to make effective use of our plantation sector? Definitely yes. So if we can really make use of and have plans, even to not to replant above 5,000 feet, most of the environment problems will be solved. And below 5,000 feet, if we can effectively make use of that resource what we have, we don't have to go and promise that we have to give 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees to estate workers. We can create environment such that they themselves become entrepreneurs. Some of the other candidates also talk about, what about ecotourism? Then what about cross-cultivation, spices, pepper, all these things? If you can give them the ownership and ask them to do that, it could happen. Then on the other hand, what about the mineral resources? None of the previous governments, they did not want to address. I personally know the Ceylon mineral sands, there was one efficient civil servant. When he wanted to come up and when he wanted to send purified products, he was removed from that. And one of the corrupted bureaucrats was put back to the mineral sand. Personally, if you all want, I can give the names. Whereas, we know very recently, Slintech, we have intellectual capital.
Gamini, you need to now summarize.
Yeah. We have intellectual capital, but we have failed to make use of it. Then the first one is export-led industrial growth. Then the second one, what we are talking about is this, how we can make efficient the state-owned enterprises. Some of those state-owned enterprises we have to scrap, and we don't believe that the government should run business. Government should create the facilitating environment with the private sector participation to run. It could be PPP model or BOO, BOT, whatever the model, running the private sector enterprises and facilitate and giving them encouragement. That is the second area we are talking about. The third area is how you can attract FDIs and the trade balance. Now, always we are talking about huge investment bringing in.
FDI and all, I'll come back again. There are a whole lot of questions there, so I'll maybe refer to you.
But I have to briefly, because otherwise my picture will not be complete. So I'm not going to go into
you
detail.
can come back to complete.
No, I'm not going to
picture.
go into detail,
Yeah, okay.
but we will have a focus on how we can trap and bring in foreign direct investments. Then the fourth area which we are talking about is how we can relook at the tax structure and how we can bring in the tax simplified tax structure, because we don't believe in this VAT structure is conducive to average small SME sector people. With that, once we do all these four, that will help for us to increase the come out of the middle income trap.
Right. Thank you, Gamini. Now, there are several questions here where asking me where Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa's video presentation, now we can get to that. Can we play that?
Born on the 20th of June 1949 in Palatua in the Matara district, Gotabaya Rajapaksa was the fifth of D.A. Rajapaksa's 9 children. Gotabaya obtained his primary and secondary education at Ananda College, Colombo. He completed a master's degree in defense studies at the University of Madras in 1983, while he also completed a postgraduate diploma in information technology at the University of Colombo in 1992. He was awarded an honorary Doctor of Letters by the University of Colombo in 2009. Gotabaya joined the Sri Lanka Army as a commissioned officer in 1971. He was awarded the Rana Vikrama Padakkama and the Rana Sura Padakkama in 1991. At the point of retirement from the army, he held the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Following the completion of his IT studies in 1992, he joined Informatics Private Limited as a marketer of advanced computer systems. Having moved to the United States in 1998, Gotabaya worked as a systems integrator at Loyola Law School in California, where he gained knowledge and experience in electronic communications. In 2005, Gotabaya was appointed the Secretary to Sri Lanka's Ministry of Defence, where he played a pivotal role in ending a 3-decade-long terrorist war. In 2010, Gotabaya's responsibilities were expanded to include both defence.
Let me first thank the organizers of this event for the invitation extended to me to take part today and appreciate this opportunity to send this message. I believe activities such as these forums have a great role to play in a democracy and extend my sincere apologies to the organizers and those of you in the audience for having declined the invitation at the very outset. However, as many of you know, we have been running a very well-organized, tightly scheduled campaign, and my commitments for today, including several events at Veerakettiya and the rally in Ratnapura, were scheduled very much in advance. I assure you that I am not here in person because I believe in honoring those commitments. The nation is at a pivotal moment, and this election determines our fate. The economy is now in dire straits, with sentiment and key indicators all crashing to all-time lows. Having been held to ransom by 30 years of terrorism, what is alarming is that we have once again had to face the threat of terrorism. National security has been seriously compromised, and I am of the firm belief that the restoration of safety and security will translate into the stability of the economy. During the last 4 years, through Viatmaga, I have spent many hours building a constructive dialogue with the top corporates and professionals of this country. These one-on-one interactions have enabled me and my team to develop a policy framework that directly addresses the real development needs and the drawbacks faced by those in charge of facilitating growth. The strongest message arising from these interactions has been that Sri Lanka now needs a leadership that is different to traditional politicians. What they expect is a technocrat who can think innovatively and work closely with multiple stakeholders to ensure our nation does not get left behind. Ambitious plans and visions most often fail where there has been little attention paid to how these can be translated to action and followed through to implementation. I have delivered every responsibility vested in me in the past. My approach has been to identify the right people, fix the flaws, and create systems that work for the people of this country. That is how I have earned my reputation as an implementer. My vision is to empower the private sector to take charge of economic growth and to create an enabling environment. Already, the fiscal reforms I have proposed have received resounding approval from many quarters. Foreign direct investments will be encouraged while safeguarding our sovereignty and especially the competitiveness of local entrepreneurs. We must attract the right kind of investors who can transfer technologies and knowledge to increase Sri Lanka's productivity. I am of the view that the government should be the enabler for society to prosper and meet its aspirations. Government and the private sector must work hand in hand to transform lives. We need urgent systemic reforms and institutional strengthening initiatives to create a culture of transparency and accountability in public administration. This will enable the private sector, investors, and international lending agencies to work better with public officials to make credible and meaningful decisions on socio-economic issues. That's why I am keen to attract professionals to the public sector to rebuild confidence. Investment and development can be fast-tracked if a credible and firm decision-making machinery is established within a transparent governance framework. The need is to marry the virtues of democratic inclusiveness with the effectiveness of technocratic management. Sri Lankans are a blessed people. We must make the most of our unique advantages and our ability to coexist peacefully while celebrating our differences. Our people are resilient. Our people have enormous resources of talent and determination. I trust the people of our country to take us to a better tomorrow, and I pledge to create broad social, political, and economic security for you. I am an optimist, and I am optimistic that even my staunchest rivals will one day stand with me, shoulder to shoulder, to see Sri Lanka and Sri Lankans reach their full potential. Thank you, and I wish all of you and my fellow candidates the very best.
Right, Sajid, now I turn to you back again. I think a lot of issues were raised here, starting from environmental management to efficient management of the public service, debt management, then the role of the private sector. What are your thoughts around those 3 or 4 areas? And maybe touch a little bit about education also, because we are just spending 2% of our GDP on education, and also investing more in child care and nutrition.
Let me just emphasize the primary aspects of what we intend on implementing as far as the economy is concerned. We will strive to provide maximum amount of incentives and encouragement to promote foreign direct investment. And we will also install a competitiveness commission, which will ensure transparency in terms of foreign investors who are keen on investing in our country. We will establish an efficient one-stop shop, which would facilitate the approval processes that are necessary for foreign investors to set up businesses and factories in our country. So we will certainly be a very proactive administration as far as foreign investment is concerned. And I personally have observed the manner in which my late father in a very crucial time in our history, in challenging times, how he was able to attract foreign investors while there were 2 insurrections taking place in our country. And we had large pools of foreign resources coming in to invest in the 200 garment factory program. What was most crucial was the personal supervision and the championing of foreign investors coming into our country. Every week you had the executive president meeting with the necessary officials together with the foreign investors, and there were time-targeted implementation programs in order to achieve those targets. I think governance overall in our country has to be so. We have to have a time-targeted, efficient approach to achieve our national policy objectives. Having said that, as a keen wildlife enthusiast who has proper knowledge of the biodiversity, the fauna and flora in our country, I would totally support and champion the sustainable development efforts that I have proposed in my policy manifesto. In fact, for the very first time, we have signed up to an environmental charter, and we have signed up to a social contract in terms of achieving those sustainable environmental and developmental targets. And in terms of the women of our country and also the youth of our country, we have furthermore established several charters and social contracts which would enable the governors of the country post 16th, which I hopefully think it's myself. We would enact legislation in Parliament to ensure that the women's rights, the rights of youth, and the environmental agenda are given legal teeth through legislative enactments, and we will ensure that those laudable declarations, proclamations, and announcements are transformed and translated into practical action, because action is what we need. In terms of education, I think it's very important to ensure that we promote education which fits the international labor market and which fits into the emerging economic and other trends. So I think it's quite laudable to allocate large percentages of GDP in terms of expenditure, but I think such expenditures has to be targeted and appropriate. We have a huge deficit in terms of English teachers, science and maths teachers, and we have to ensure that the teachers that we produce ensure that the education that the students receive are of international standard. And I think we have to focus more on teacher training, better recruitment methods, and we have to cater to the various deficiencies that exist in the periphery. Most who are here at the center do not see the drawbacks, the shortcomings and the deficiencies in the periphery, the peripheral Sri Lanka, which most have forgotten. Most would define them as the silent majority of the country. And I, for one, shall strive to be the voice of the voiceless and be the representative of the silent majority, and ensure that in all sectors, education, health, agriculture, irrigation, environment, and so on and so forth, that we ensure that sustainable developmental models are adopted and implemented in order to ensure that there is shared prosperity and inclusive growth as far as the people of our country are concerned.
I know you have to catch a helicopter. This one final question for the tourism sector. What do you plan to do? Are you planning to extend the moratorium or?
Well, we will have a very comprehensive approach. I don't think moratorium per se would be our approach to tourism. We will establish a presidential task force on tourism, and we will ensure that the tourism policy is implemented. As far as the setbacks that took place because of the internal security situation and the retardation of tourist arrivals, we shall continue to support the tourism sector in terms of the various moratoriums that have been given. And when I addressed the stakeholders in the tourism sector, we gave an open promise that the moratoriums will continue until all the stakeholders in the tourism sector are up on their feet, back to the pre-Easter attack levels. And we have taken a step forward in promising to name tourism as an export industry. Through that pronouncement, I believe tourism can be used as one of the areas in which the country can flourish with minimal domestic investment. And it can be driven by tourism, it can be driven by foreign support and foreign investment and foreign grants which are readily available through the various international monetary institutions, because irrespective of us being a middle-income country, there is a greater propensity among the international monetary institutions to provide financial support to promote and encourage tourism. So that is an area that we have clearly focused in our manifesto. If I may, with your permission, just touch on 2 or 3 other aspects. As far as the state sector is concerned, we have to have an efficient state sector, a state sector that is motivated, a state sector that is managing through a proper recognition of objectives rather than for the sake of being afloat. So I think in terms of SOEs, we shall strive to ensure that SOEs are provided with the necessary support, necessary capital, the necessary modern management techniques to ensure that they are profit-making rather than loss-making and being a burden on the governments and the country's scarce monetary resources. In addition to that, we as an administration, we firmly believe in a prosperous Sri Lanka, where prosperity is shared by all. And we shall structure our government policy to ensure that there is no discrimination. We have seen in recent times in recent decades, where policies have been structured to support and favor certain business conglomerates that have been the political favorites of the different political leaders. I think that should not be the order of the day. That, I think, should be removed from our system of governance. I think we should ensure that there is a level playing field where political contacts, political favoritism, and money does not dictate the industrial and political agenda of the country. Rather, we, the country as a whole, should oppose bandism of all sorts, be it family, be it business or otherwise. We should ensure that we establish a meritocratic society where the best and the brightest and those who have achieved excellence are given a primary role in deciding the destiny of our country. So the destiny of our country should not be handled by a coterie of political favorites and business conglomerates, which they would have as their sole objective of expanding their business empire. I don't think they have the national interests at hand. So I fervently believe that through a meritocratic system where justice and fairness prevails, and where there is open, transparent and sound policy decision making with the participation of experts and individuals, if I may go out of my way, without casting aspersions on my fellow candidates. I think the two candidates who are here and the gentleman who is representing Mahesh Senanayake, I think three of them, I feel that they are very well equipped to become partners of Sri Lanka's progress. I think in their respective fields.
So are you saying that they will serve in your next government?
Sorry, can I just finish that sentence? With the eloquent presentations that they have made, they have shown their credibility in their particular fields. And in fact, Dr. Ajanta is someone whom I have known. She has been in government, acting as consultant in several ministries. And I know of her capabilities, and Dr. Pallewatta, who has achieved much, and I should congratulate him on his achievements, and he has brought us honor, and we are proud to have him as one of the candidates, and I think these two are very well equipped, and they have the intellectual capacity to become partners of Sri Lanka's progress. And Mahesh Senanayake, I mean, he has been a great general in the war effort, which was headed by Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca. At least now, after 10 years and a few months, it has been admitted that he's the person who pioneered and spearheaded the war effort. And Mahesh Senanayake was, if I remember correct, was in charge of planning and logistics, and he played a pivotal role in the war victory. And he himself is quite a capable person who should be in government in the area of expertise that he has specialized in. So I think, all in all, I'm very happy to have had the opportunity of participating. You have to excuse me because we allocated the times 9:30 to 11 for this particular fireside chat. Even though I was sitting next to fire, it's disappeared. I didn't feel any of the warmth that comes with fire, but certainly this occasion has encouraged and stimulated myself, and I have been very much enriched by the statements that were made by my colleagues, my fellow candidates, and I wish you all very well and all the very best. And I would like to thank the International Chamber of Commerce for having taken the trouble to invite all of the candidates. In fact, you all spoke to us some way back 3 weeks ago, and we allocated our times. And I must say, I for one, I will not shy away from any debate. I will not shy away from government. I will not shy away from challenges. I think the mark of leadership is to face up to questions, face up to debate, and face up to challenges. And I can assure you, every aspect of my manifesto is part of the 25 years of experience that I've had in working for the country. And I'm quite capable, without any assistance, to back up everything that is here. The nuances and the intricacies and the policy prescriptions I've put forward, I'm always willing to back it up. And after the 16th, I'll make sure that the proclamations and stipulations and declarations are implemented in our country. And you will see action taking place at breakneck speed. And we will achieve prosperity in a short space of time. And we will ensure such prosperity is of the highest standards, and that prosperity will be enjoyed by all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Honorable Sajid Premadasa for his presence here today, and we have a token of appreciation from ICC Sri Lanka and Louis Salon.
I'll close this session in about 10 minutes, but Dr. Ajanta, there's a question for you. How do you get more women into parliament? What is the strategy that the country should adopt in driving more people into parliament?
To her. Yeah.
Okay. I think one of the reasons why I stood up for the presidential, as a presidential candidate, is also to ensure that the fear that the women have in entering the parliament. Because I think it's very, very important that the more representation of women are in the parliament, but at the same time, we need to ensure that they are educated women, women with a vision, women who have done work already in the country, in the social services maybe, and ensure that those women have no fear of election campaigning and financing. Because most people do not want to come for a presidential campaign or even a parliamentary election because of the large costs that are involved. And I really want to say that the main candidates have already spent 300 million and 500 million rupees on the election campaign. And this has discouraged many very good citizens of Sri Lanka from entering politics. And I want to say something, that my campaign, I have spent my own money, and I have spent nearly only 3 million. And I really want to say, one of the things that I want to encourage is, not just women, but also everyone who believes that they can do something for their own motherland and make sure that you can drive this country towards economic development. And very especially, we really need to be serious about economic development in Sri Lanka, because we have a huge debt and our own national industries are downgraded and they need to be uplifted. And also very especially our academia, who are sitting in the universities, are not utilized well. Our human resources are not utilized well in the development process. And so it's very, very important that people with a very good vision enter into politics. And another thing I want to say, that one of the disheartening factors that happen in Sri Lanka, why many people actually leave the country as well rather than entering politics is because of the discrimination that happens in Sri Lanka when it comes in terms of getting a job. And so, even though you may not believe, if I become the president of Sri Lanka, one of the first things that I want to do is, in the application forms to enter into any job in the government sector, I will scrap both the question on ethnicity and religion. Because both this ethnicity and religion has ruined our country in terms of development. Because we have found ourselves bringing the wrong people into jobs. So once those are scrapped, then you will only have the national ID number and the qualifications. We should select good people based on the qualifications. So, just as you have said, many women should enter politics. I fully agree with you, but I also agree with you that we need to select the right people and put them in the right places in the country so that this country can move forwards. Because up to now, we have found very often that the wrong people are sitting in the most important seats. And that's something I can promise you, if I become the president of this country, I will change all those things. Because all what we need is a wonderful, beautiful Sri Lanka of which we can be very proud of. And we all are Sri Lankans, and that's the flag that we need to carry. So we need sustainable growth, we need economic development, and I have a lot of international experiences, both in academia and in my experience, because I have had my schooling and my university education in England. I have got my master's and my PhD from Germany. I have worked in the US, and I have also worked as a professor in Fiji Islands. So one of the things that I have brought into the country is the ability to look around the other countries and understand we cannot survive by ourselves. We need international connections, but we need not be afraid of the international arena around us, but rather we need to develop our country and uplift our country so that we can be a challenge to the world. And that's where Sri Lanka is going, and it all depends on your votes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. No, there's a question on debt. There's a question on debt. Yeah. Maybe Rohan has been talking a lot about how Sri Lanka should restructure its debt. Maybe we'll ask him now.
Regarding the debt, well, I think right now, I think the numbers are right. The debt to GDP ratio is around 87%. And one of the priorities will be to bring this ratio down to manageable size, but not by minimizing the debt, but by expanding the economy. Because right now, our economy is around $93 billion. But I'm ambitious, and I can pronounce very clearly that we can get up to about $180 billion economy within 5 to 7 years. It is definitely possible. And people calculate and say sometimes the GDP growth has been around 2%, 3%. At this rate, I mean, if we are to get into twice as the GDP right now, we need to have a growth of about 20%. But let me tell you, leadership is not about being an accountant or doing the calculations and telling the nation this is where we should get into. Leadership is about giving them impossible targets and motivating them to achieve them. When John F. Kennedy said that he will put a man in the moon, he did not have the resources or the money to do that. But after 10 years of his pronouncing that, they in fact placed a man on the moon. So that is about leadership. So that is the kind of leadership that I intend providing this country. And also regarding the debt restructuring, we will be compelled to do that because next year we will be paying we will be spending, I think, nearly $4 billion in debt servicing, which will be one of the highest amounts that in our history that we are going to pay. So people say that there are debt agreements and therefore, we must comply with them. But remember that when Mahathir Mohamad was elected as Prime Minister at the age of 92, he went to China and he renegotiated some of these debt agreements. So we should have a leader with a personality who will stand with the national interest rather than just complying and rather than just following what has been the nomenclature. So there should be a leader that will stand, and I can assure you, I will be that leader who will stand with the national interest, stand on the side of the country, and renegotiate these dates. And also, we intend introducing, because most of the, our Auditor General, the previous Auditor General, has loud and clearly pronounced that we have borrowed 11.8 trillion, and out of that, it is only 1.1 trillion that is being utilized as on records. So we have to have a forensic audit done on all the national projects, and we have to recover at least part of this money because it is the money that belongs to the people. So even by that way, we can reduce the tension of debt by bringing part of the money that has been looted out of the country. So these are few ways in which, and also we intend introducing a national blockchain where every government transaction will have to go through this national blockchain and will be monitored. And also we are going to introduce something where a mobile app, where people of the country, citizenry of the country, can use their mobile phone to find out the day-to-day expenses of the government, that is expenditure and the income. So that we have to take the country to such levels. And also we have to introduce Industry 4.0, because we couldn't get into the third industrial revolution, but now it's too late. But we have to have a think tank as to how we are going to take that great leap to Industry 4.0. So these are certain things that we intend doing, and all these things will have an implication on the debt ratio of the GDP. Yeah.
Thank you, Rohan.
Yeah, I think, thank you. From the NPM, we were starting to explain what areas and how will you get FDIs into the country, foreign direct investment.
Okay, I would like to, because I can see the interest is going down and people may be getting hungry. So because of that, the technical explanations, I am trying to limit it. And I would like to leave an ending remark that can take home. Talking about the international trade and the foreign direct investments, first one, what we talk about is most of the international trade agreements are not properly negotiated because we have been involved with the process for the last 4 years, whereas most of us, our even bureaucrats, they have failed to negotiate for our country. In fact, one of the Indian delegates, those who negotiate at the negotiating table, what they told us personally is, we came up with 130% of demands, and we thought that we will end up at 60, but they gave us all 130%. So this could be a lack of knowledge. This could be maybe some other interest. Whatever it is, I think we have to ensure that scientific, transparent methods should be brought in for international trade. That's first thing. Then the second thing is about the foreign direct investment. We always try to find foreigners for foreign direct investment. Should it necessarily be? There is a huge amount of Sri Lankan diaspora. Those are doing very, very well. Probably maybe dozens of them can even purchase the entire Sri Lanka. So why don't we focus on them? So what, as a country, what we propose, if we are governing, is we will ensure that for them to, creating an environment for them to bring in foreign direct investment with their expertise, with their management skills. Not only that, we will guarantee the parity rate change will be absorbed by the government. Because if you do that, immediately there will be huge amount of dollars that will come in, and that itself will help for you to stabilize dollar rate at a lower level. So those are two major areas which we are going to do for foreign direct investment. Quite apart from, now if you look at easy to do business index, right now Sri Lanka is number 99. New Zealand is number 1, Singapore is number 2, countries like Rwanda is 35, Kenya is 65. So where do we stand? So has BOI delivered what were expected? So this is a number of plethora of other things which we have to take up, but with the limited time, I'll limit it to that. And my sum up is, as a candidate, as a group, we have already won. For the simple reason, if you all see the recent TV debates, recent radio discussions, don't you all agree the standard has gone up? Right? So this is the change what we wanted, irrespective of whatever the party. People come and they share policies, they share their ideologies rather than coming and questioning someone else how many fingers you have at your hand. That's not what we expect from politicians. So we have already managed to change that culture, and so much so, I can see some of the media people are right in front, so much so, even the people, those whom they invited for political discussions and debate, they have been very selective to ensure that the standard has gone up. So that is one thing we have achieved, and we can be happy. Because we are not traditional politicians and we don't intend to be in politics, but we wanted this change to happen. Then always for the last 70 years, what has been going on is we say that, this party will win, so we have to go with the majority. This party will win, we have to go with the majority. But please remember, garbage in is garbage out. Garbage in is garbage out. There is no secret, no science in that. And for your information, if you all know, August 6th, all the top clerics, all the top 4 prelates, and the cardinal, and the Kurukkal, and the Muslim chief, they all signed a declaration, and they had it at the BMICH, and they say, please ensure when you put political candidates, they abide by this. We are the only people, those who have given that commitment. Of course, I know there are some other presidential candidates who satisfy that, they have not given, but we have given that. In the same tone, we know there are some popular political candidates, they don't fit into that bill. Now the damage is already done. But at least for the general election, please ensure, please demand from whatever the party that you want to vote for, that whoever the people whom they recommend, they satisfy those requirements. What are those requirements? They are not to give them affidavit that they don't do business with government, to give them affidavit to say that they don't have bars, casino license. So these are common things that if you be a MP, you can't be doing business. If you all can go back, where Albert Silva, when he became MP, he had to go through a court case and he had to give up his membership because he has taken a kerosene license at that time. So this was the level we maintain at that level. So my final plea is, don't always stand with the majority. Stand on the right side, then the right side becomes the majority. So please vote for Mahesh. And if you want to vote for any of the other parties, you can give second preference. Thank you.
And on that note, we come to the end of the Fireside Chat. Everybody put your hands together and give our panelists a round of applause. And our moderators, thank you very much for a wonderful job. I would like to invite Mr. Mahendra Amar Surya, past president of ICC Sri Lanka, to present tokens of appreciation to our panelists. We'll start off with the lady. Dr. Ajanta will be presented with the token of appreciation. And you also get a gift from Louis Ceylon. And the token of appreciation also to Mr. Mahendra Surya, don't leave. We want you to stay on. There are 2 more panelists. To Dr. Pallevatta as well. And once again, a gift from Louis Ceylon as well. And finally, to Dr. Gunawardena, representing General Mahesh Senanayake. And on that wonderful note, we've come to the end of this very productive fireside chat. We had wonderful response and questions. Thank you very much, Mahendra Amarasuriya, for making those presentations. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience.